Well, we're the ones casting the final, and this is, I mean, historic is the word for it, really.
Yep.
North America versus Europe final, the two best teams performing at the tournament. And I actually love that it is North America versus Europe. I think back to the last 8 World Championships, the last 4 MSIs, across 12 major international tournaments, Europe has outperformed NA in 10 of them. This is round 13, and it feels like the first chance that NA could take a title.
It really does. I mean, Team Liquid have a very legitimate shot here of changing the course, right? I mean, it feels like for me, and I've been doing this a very long time, since pre-season 1 even, it feels like North America has been getting trash talked by EU. From our perspective.
That's true.
That's true, yeah.
Honestly, if I throw out something here, the competitive League of Legends scene, to me, started with EU NA trash talk. Before Korea even had a server, we were trash talking each other.
That's true.
I mean, it's super true. And it's actually just so insane that one of these two teams will actually hold an international title. Because for so long, no one would have ever expected, maybe one, maybe the other, but never would it be a competition between Europe and North America. It's insanely exciting.
Hey guys, we gotta get you over to the caster desk.
All right.
A battle for the ages is upon us as G2 Esports and Team Liquid face off in the MSI 2019 final. An EU versus NA matchup fans have waited on for years. You're getting a look at the teams arriving to the arena earlier today. The biggest best of 5 most of these players have ever faced down in their entire lives stands before them. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the MSI Countdown, where for 30 minutes we look back at the insane series yesterday and preview the final until the timer reaches 0, and we go to Taipei for the opening ceremony. Now, you might ask yourself, how did we end up here? Well, to make a long story short, first, Team Liquid pulled off one of the biggest upsets in esports history by taking down the reigning world champions, Invictus Gaming. Not to be outdone, in a thrilling series that went all the way to Game 5, G2 ended FLICKR and SKT's run towards the title to set us up for an EU versus NA clash today.
And this is 9 years in the making. This was the last thing that anyone thought would happen going into this tournament. We are on the foot of history being made right now.
And I'm so happy that yesterday's series went all the way to 5 games between G2 and SKT. We got to see so many highlight moments. We're getting one on screen now, you know, the two-man split push into Wonder, getting the Nexus in the end, classic EU fashion. And in the very end, we get a Baron called by SKT. The guys who are normally always in control, they were the ones who suffered here, and G2 managed to win.
And just in similar style, the way TL was able to overcome Invictus Gaming, the best team in the world, coming into this tournament and do so by controlling it and bringing it back to the team fights. I thought that was a terrific series to get us into now what is going to be, you know, that very heavy chaos-style League of Legends that G2 brings versus, you know, maybe the more slow team fight style of Team Liquid.
I've heard that before. I feel like there's been a narrative before.
For me, it was just play your game. The fact that it was Skarner, Lux, that it was Syndra, Pyke, it was the fact that it was no longer about copycat. You didn't have to do what China and Korea were doing. You just played the Western style, and this is what we have.
Now, the two best regional champions in the world right now are EU and NA, and they look to square off against each other tonight. It is EU and NA. I don't know how many more times I get to say that in my life. Shox and Azael and Raz are on the ground in Taipei, and we'll be checking in with them throughout the day. Let's see what the atmosphere is like ahead of the final.
Thank you very much, Dash. Honestly, I could hear you saying that 10 times
Soak it up. Keep saying it.
EU versus NA, TL versus G2 for the MSI title. It's gospel. It sounds so good. But, you know, we got to go through the motions and think about where these teams started in the tournament and where they are now. And I do want to start with Team Liquid because we know they were built for international success, but it wasn't sure if it was going to come true. And I think from day one on, there was one person on the Rift for TL who carried a lot of weight, and that's Impact. This guy had a fantastic tournament.
Impact has been wild. The group stage is the reason why they ended up getting to this point. Like, Team Liquid very likely wouldn't have gotten to the knockout stage to begin with if it wasn't for Impact's carry performances.
Yeah, I agree. And to me, the biggest thing is that he has defied expectation throughout playoffs as well as, you know, in the finals. And coming into MSI, people had certainly been pretty vocal criticizing, you know, his lack of ability to play carries. And, you know, everyone was thinking this was going to be the weak point of TL. This is where they would crumble on the international stage against the likes of Wonder and the Shy. And yet he took down the Shy in a best of 5. And it was honestly incredible to see him performing to that level on carries.
Yeah, and I think on the other side of that is the LCS MVP, Core JJ, coming in. We had very high expectations. To me, he started off a bit slower, but man, did he develop in this tournament.
He took over that Invictus Gaming set. He took down Baolan, and he was a major reason why they came into these games. His engaging points with the Alistar, he was such a dominating factor.
Yeah, exactly. And to me, it was the transition away from the Tahm Kench, which had so much regional success for Team Liquid, and the realization that perhaps they needed more aggressive play from Core JJ. In come the Alistar, in come the Galio, and in come, I think, one of the best series that any support has ever played against IG. I think that was pretty close to perfection from Core JJ.
It was absolutely an amazing set by Team Liquid, and that's why they find themselves here. And they're up versus the LEC champions, G2 Esports. And when you say G2, you got to say FlexPix. You just have to emphasize once again that depth of champion pool that these guys play with, and especially the fact that they have so much to play with in a best of series.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they have so many picks, and they make all these picks their own.
That's
They're
intimidating.
masters of so many different champions. When you see something picked, you don't know if it's going top. Is it going bot? Is it going mid? Are they doing funnel? They have so many strategies, and they're impossible to predict, which makes them a nightmare to draft against.
Yeah, like, just taking a note of all of this, good luck for the Team Liquid staff in the back trying to really predict, because even if you went towards Game 5, SKT versus G2, like, it was the 4th pick coming through, and no one had a clue where the Syndra was going. It was tough. It's tough, and Team Liquid got to play this style. There's nothing you can predict going up against G2.
Yeah, and that also makes me super excited because Team Liquid has impressed us also so much on the terms of preparation. They said we knew how to take down IG. They don't skip a step when it comes to preparation. A guy that sometimes skips a couple of steps, I would say, on G2 is Caps. He finds himself in unfortunate situations at times, but more often than not, this guy finds himself in exactly the right place at the right time and destroys the enemy team.
Yeah, this is one of those unfortunate situations, but you get the best of him and you get the worst of him. I think he changes the way G2 plays. You don't tell him, you don't go in the back and say, oh, play it back a little bit more, play it more reserved. You actually encourage him, you play with him, and you get more people diving alongside him.
Yeah, and I think he does make some mistakes, but the positive side you get with that is I would say he's the best mid laner in the world at exploiting a lead when he already has it, because he's so aggressive. He's willing to take risky plays because he trusts his mechanics, and 9 times out of 10, he's right. He's going to be able to play off plays like that.
Yeah, from a fan perspective, you just watch it and you're like, yes, I love to watch Caps because he always goes in. He always gives us a show. And I think that goes for every single player on the Rift today. I cannot wait to see all the players clash into each other and hopefully give us the full 5 games. We are going to take a quick break before we dive a bit deeper into the lane by lane, so stick around.
Welcome back to MSI Countdown. We're about 19 minutes away from the opening ceremony presented by MasterCard. Today, the best players in the West will battle on the Rift for one of the biggest titles in League of Legends. So let's break down the different matchups, starting in the top lane with Wonder versus Impact.
And the thing is this was supposed to be a stylistic mismatch. This was supposed to be Impact, all about the team fights. He sacrifices his resources, he sacrifices his own advantages, and he groups up with his team. While Wonder plays things like the Rise. He plays off into the side lane, the 1-3-1. But in reality, we're actually getting two team fighting top laners from both of them. It's just kind of that extra edge that Wonder has, that he will go out to the side lane when it comes to a clutch moment. But I actually think we're going to see a lot more grouping up and a lot more views plays from both tops.
We do know, however, that Impact is going to be the predictable one, where Wonder can still be the unpredictable. Like the Pyke pick, we've all seen it a few times now, but playing against it is going to be another thing for Team Liquid if it is left open. And knowing Wonder, there can be more things he's sitting and he's hiding until this final.
I also think that Wonder just straight up takes more resources than what Impact does in this best of 5. And what we've seen from Team Liquid is that they're able to isolate that top lane position and that they're able to get Impact in situations where he's kind of dragging the top laner towards the team fight. He's making it not about the side lane. The top lane isn't being as volatile as some of the top laners want. And if this guy just went through the Shy, you know, not even the best top laner, but maybe the best player in the world, I don't think he's going to be all that worried going up against Wonder. This guy's already won a world championship for himself and looks like he's in very good touch at this tournament.
And I just want to highlight kind of the two different picks of both these top laners. It feels like the Nico and the Kennen are kind of really the go-to that Impact has been grabbing, whereas Wonder, it's about things like that Pyke and that Jace or the Rise even. So these are kind of the slight differences between these two.
And I think what it shows is a lot of damage, kill pressure from Wonder, but actually a lot of initial big AoE CC when you jump into a fight from Impact. It's not about Impact being the carry. He's setting up the rest of the team.
Now, next up, we've got perhaps the most important role in the game right now, the jungle position in Xmithie versus Jankos.
Yeah, and I think this is the position where if you look at it, you're going to get probably the most crazy and different opinions about the players. There's a lot of people who absolutely love what Jankos can do in the early game, but there's also issues with consistency, and it's something that's been punished in the past. And for Xmithie, all the group stages, we were talking about wrong picks, underperforming, and then in the semi-final, he became a hero because he actually succeeded in the early game. He found, you know, Java and Rek'Sai and the Skarner pick to control Ning. And that was so important for Team Liquid because they need him to survive the early game.
And whilst this jungle meta has been dictated by the early game picks, I like what Jankos actually brings into the mid-late game for G2 potentially against Xmithie. If Xmithie goes towards something like the Sejuani, all of a sudden the Karthus is back on the table. Regionally, it saw so much success. It hasn't fit the tempo of this tournament, but I think that if Team Liquid make that mistake and allow Jankos to play towards his style, then he can absolutely take over some of these leagues.
I was a bit surprised to see Jankos pulling out the Skarner himself in his semifinal, thinking that might be a unique pick for Xmithie in this series. After all, it may be contested. In the mid lane, we've got an explosive battle between two star players who joined their teams ahead of 2019, Caps and Jensen.
And listen, I've been the biggest Caps fanboy for many years. I think the way he plays the game is just so entertaining, and it's so hard to play against because he's constantly taking high-risk plays, and he has the mechanics to back it up. So it's very frustrating to deal with him. But I think Jensen is actually a little bit of the opposite. He's Mr. Consistent now. He will always, at minimum, go even in his lane. He will always scale into the late game and actually be a strong team fighter. So TL, they now know they can count on Jensen no matter who they're facing in mid.
I almost think he's kind of the X factor for TL in the draft, because you look at how one-sided this feels to G2 for their drafting, the flexibility, the creativity in terms of the champions that they can use. Jensen has proven that he can be that backbone. He can play those flex picks. Give him the Sylas, give him the Akali, and he can start popping off. And this was something that was really missing from TL's arsenal heading into this tournament.
And we saw what this matchup can look like from both sides during the group stages. Jensen coming out ahead in the last game they played, but can't forget how pivotal Caps was in game number 1 of these two teams. However, I think what has impressed me about Team Liquid is their containment style about mid lane. The fact that they're now willing to bring in Xmithie very early, that Core JJ will play things like Galio and Tahm Kench to have the ability to rotate up. So Caps needs to be very aware when he's looking for his plays today that he is not making it just against Jensen. This is a whole Team Liquid lineup trying to bolster the mid lane.
Yeah, luckily for G2, they got to watch those games. They got to see the weapon against Rookie. Caps, not a stranger to getting camped in the mid lane. His career started with him just getting shot down by enemy junglers. He's adjusted a lot over the last couple of years, and I still think he's the strongest weapon on this G2 lineup, and he's the one who will create most plays.
And it has to be mentioned that Caps has now made back-to-back international finals. Of course, Worlds just this previous year, now here at MSI, but he's looking to avenge his 3-0 defeat from World Finals this time around here at MSI against Team Liquid. Next up, we have Perkz and Doublelift. They both have multiple domestic titles, but have never won on the world stage despite countless attempts to do so. And today, one of them will get to lift that international trophy.
They absolutely will, and I think Doublelift turned Liquid from this relegation team into now a legitimate Worlds contender. This is a player that has just stuck at it for so long, and you have to admire how he's been able to keep up with his game. Pulls out the vein, late game scaling on the Kai'Sa, and we're just talking about how Caps might be G2's biggest weapon, while Doublelift definitely is the biggest weapon here for TL in these best of 5. I think he's a late game carry, and in this tournament, he has been able to do so consistently.
And I want to talk about the intangible in terms of like the mental game, especially for a guy like Doublelift. At MSI last year, when he was the guy who took down Uzi, pulled out the Caitlyn, went toe-to-toe against RNG in the lane phase and beat them, I said, this guy has fire. He has passion. You can see it when he plays that he's playing to win. And now that he's gone through Invictus Gaming here, he's made it to an international final. I feel like we're finally going to see Doublelift unchained, that he doesn't have that blocker anymore.
I think also it's safe to say Doublelift, he's the face of Team Liquid. Perkz, he's the face of G2 Esports. He's the captain. He's been there from the start when they qualified into the LEC. And now he's role swapping so they can put in a mid laner like Caps. He's now playing mages in the bot lane when he needs to. He can play lane bull AD carries like Draven. He can also go for scaling, but it's not his strength. And that's the big difference between these two guys. If you're looking at late game team fighting, you take Doublelift on a traditional AD carry. But if you're looking for creativity, if you're looking for early plays, you go for Perkz.
And if you're looking for mental fortitude, I think both of these players actually have it in spades. You know, you talk about the journey that Doublelift's been on, but Perkz has really impressed me. He's had some shocking games and then bounced back into really impressive performances, even in yesterday's series. As you're mentioning, early game was not going well, and then the Draven pick all of a sudden comes out. He runs over the game.
Yeah, and he's experienced everything. He's been the most hated player in Europe after failed international tournaments, and now everyone loves him, and they want to see him lift the trophy.
All right, let's add in the second halves of each of these bot lanes, though. CoreJJ and Mickey X standing side by side with these guys.
And I really loved Azael's point earlier about CoreJJ, that this is a guy that comes across from the North American LCS, wins the MVP, does it on very negative supports like the Tahm Kench, like the Braum. Then yesterday just shows how he's able to have impact on Engage. This is, to me, the area that I get very nervous for TL, because I think they've shown a reliance on CoreJJ's ability to start fights, whereas when you have a look at G2, every single member of that team is volatile, and I think that CoreJJ has a huge task ahead of him today.
Yeah, I actually predict that they will be giving attention to CoreJJ, trying to limit his champion pool, or at least the engaged champions that G2 want to face him on. If he gets something like a Galio, like a Braum, I think it's so easy for him to turn the tides of a fight. His Alistar performance was incredible. If you can force TL onto the likes of a Varus or a Kench, I think that's what G2 are really aiming here. Make him be more of that defensive support and get rid of some of that playmaking ability.
And I think bringing this all together, Frosk, I want to return to a point that you brought up just a moment ago, which is the idea that for all of these players, they've now made it. They're here. And what I hope more than anything for this series is that they all play that way, that they all play unfettered, unchained, in a sense, in the way that they attack this best of 5.
Normally, I say, you know, turn the nameplates off, because it's always like the West versus the Giant East. It's always SKT. It's always fake. You're like, just pretend it's not fake, or just focus on yourself. You know these teams. Keep the nameplates on. You know exactly who you're against. Perkz is saying, Doublelift, who's that? I can beat this guy. I faced him a million times. Doublelift on the other side is like, Perkz, are you kidding me right now? You're a 3-month ADC. Welcome to my 8-year career.
I promise you, they're actually sitting in the lobby right now, saying exactly that to each other. The G2 guys on stage are just constantly joking and laughing, and it means you can remove the nerves.
Hopefully those nerves are fully removed. Today, G2 or Team Liquid will put their name down in history as the 5th MSI champion. We'll be right back for more on that matchup, followed by the opening ceremony.
So a lot of people were really happy when we ended up making it to the World's Final last year. It was something that hasn't been done in a long time, and for that, a lot of fans were really happy for us. However, I was not that happy because I want the legacy of winning. I want to be on top and stay on top. That's why for me, it's not just enough to be a champion. I want to be a legend.
The opening ceremony presented by MasterCard is almost here, and as we gear up for the most important EU versus NA clash of all time, G2 versus Team Liquid, I've asked it every day of this tournament, but I know this prediction has more gravity than any I've asked before for the people on this desk. So who will win the MSI 2019 title? Spawn, we're going to start with you.
And Dash, the North American representative in Team Liquid that came into this tournament was not able to win MSI when they first came in. But this is a team that has shown growth. Their individual players have elevated. And what MSI has shown me so far is if you get a lead and head into team fights, you will win the game consistently. And in the wise words of the greatest North American president of all time, Benjamin Franklin, Team Liquid will win MSI 2019 3-2.
There it is. The North American Patriot Spawn has spoken.
You guys didn't have an
Team
NA
Liquid is going to win.
The budget NA
3-2. I like the 5-game prediction, though. It means we're going to get plenty of action. Deficio, hit me.
I don't have a great quote from
well, then moving on to FLICKR, who hopefully has something in her arsenal. Now, all right, what's the thought here?
I am going with 3-1 G2. I think we had two different metas in the series. We had the get to late game in the TL series, and we had the snowball early game in the G2 versus SKT series, and I'm looking towards that one here because I don't think TL are better late game team fighters than what SKT could bring to the table, and that was not a problem for G2 in 3 out of those 5 games when they had the early advantage. So I'm trusting in the early game in this one. I think they have the tools and the players to consistently get advantages, and then they can beat TL.
Not a problem. You won a best of 5 off a backdoor and a fumbled Baron, my friend. There were some problems going on there.
A lot of team fights won in that game. They won a team fight at the Baron. They didn't force the SKT to start it.
FLICKR?
Okay, I am also G2 3-1, but I do want to kind of talk about the two schools of thought that are happening here and this idea of team fighting versus snowball early game. And the reason why I picked 3-1 is because I have confidence that G2 will win the series, but I also have confidence that G2 will enter draft, that they will try to decide that they're going to match Team Liquid in a scaling 5v5 team fight scenario, and I think that will bite them, that they will be wrong in that prediction, but it's the fact that they have a massive versatile style with their champion pools, with how they attack the map, with the fact that they can, attack through the bot lane, attack through the mid, attack through the top, that's why they're stronger representatives for this series.
I love that you had to do grabs dirty, just once there, you just had to he's gonna end one.
I hope his tweet's ready.
Blame him already.
And look, I do think, and the reason I have this series so close is I think the solo laners of Invictus Gaming underperformed in especially the Shy. Rookie played great, but they had a strategy for it. So what I'm looking for here in game 1, and the reason I think that this could be very, very close, is if Impact can go toe-to-toe with Wonder in isolation. If they can somehow drag Jankos towards the mid lane, towards the bottom lane, then I think that is the area that TL actually start trying to win. And that's how you generate early fights. There's more members down there, things like Dragon, and then the ability to change into Rift Herald has been crucial. And what I think G2 need to try and do is get Wonder ahead and then get people out of lanes. If Caps isn't in mid lane, if he's roaming top, if he's able to get access to the map, this becomes a very hard series for TL to win.
All right, well, some thoughts from my experts here, but we've got plenty more experts who have opinions, and I need more predictions for an EU versus NA final. So I'm going to ask for our friends in Taipei to weigh in.
Thank you very much, Dash. I know you usually abstain, but you know what? I'm going to break the mold.
There you go.
And nobody's going to be surprised. G2 Esports, I'm going to say more.
I thought you had DL.
3-0, baby. Listen, there hopefully will be more times, but I feel like there's not a lot of times where I'll be able to go all in. I've been very impressed with them through Europe into this matchup where they have so much flexibility and they seem unfazed, and I have trust in my boys.
That's fair enough. I think this series is going to be a lot closer than that, personally. I think that both these teams, they went even in groups. They took down monumental opponents in the semifinals. But for me, what the edge I think it gives to TL is the fact that they were able to contain opponents so effectively through mid-jungle 2v2, as well as Impact neutralizing top lanes. It's less about their dominance and more about the fact that these solo laners have so consistently gone even against the Rookie and Shy. And then I do think think that TL, if you put Doublelift and Perks in this late game team fight where it's coming down to them, I do give Doublelift that edge. If G2 is the win, though, it's going to be about speeding it up and dominating the early game.
Yeah, I agree with all of that in terms of just the win conditions. For me, I have it as a 3-1. But I'm going to agree with Mr. Benji Franklin and Spawn at the desk there. So I have it actually for Team Liquid, just because for me, a lot of these members, all 10 members on the stage, really stood up. But who stood the tallest for me across the board has been Core JJ. And he's really identified what a support can do on the greatest stages. I'm not concerned about, the consistency for Xmithy no longer. And so in terms of how Team Liquid are coming into this one, in terms of team fighting, no questions. I think they matched the skirmishing power from Invictus Gaming, and we're going to see the same thing happen tonight.
You know what? I absolutely love it. And I'm not going to lie, there is emotional investment here, right? You can't just throw that overboard. And I think that is also the key to the two teams that we're seeing here on stage. They have so much riding on this on each side. If we only have to pick a couple of the storylines, Perks, he's been there so many times. Caps to international finals in a row. Doublelift, a struggle for seemingly his entire life.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it at the top of the show talking about this UNA rivalry, that it's existed since before Season 1. To me, the most exciting thing about this chapter of it is it's no longer UNA fighting over table scraps, trying to be the next best team behind Korea. They are now fighting to be the best in the world.
Yeah, indeed. And I mean, I think back to Worlds last year when we thought Fnatic versus C9, that was a flash in the pan. We were never going to see that again. But what if we have to reframe it? And if that is the new reality? And I think Team Liquid and G2 Esports are going to prove that today.
Yes.
They're going to go toe-to-toe and leave it all on the Rift.
The game is changing. The meta is changing. You saw it at Worlds. MSI is going to be that stage for us to see it go ahead.
Yes, it is. And you know that this is it. You can now analyze whatever you want. But in terms of that, the players hopefully will now be able to drop that all, right? They have to have their eye on the prize.
Exactly. It's performance on the given day. When all the pressure is mounting here on these two teams, it's who will step up, who will make that big play and make it happen, not only for themselves, but for their team and for their region.
Indeed. We are pretty close to the opening ceremony. Under a minute now. We can see that everything's getting fired up there. And I just think it's absolutely lovely that we're going to see the 5 players on each team step onto that stage. And hopefully we'll be able to read off their faces that they are excited, because this is history in the making in Taipei at MSI.
You can hear from the fans here too. It's split across the board from the G2 fans and Team Liquid fans. They made their way over here to the Pacific.
That they did, so long in the making for G2 Esports, for Europe, a 3rd straight international final. Is this the time, or is it Team Liquid's time? Is all that hard work finally going to pay off for every single person on that roster and everyone supporting them from both sides? It is time to meet our players, Team Liquid and G2 Esports, and watch our opening ceremony.
让我们欢迎来自北美 LCS 赛区的 Team Liquid。上路 Impact。打野 X-Missy。中路 Jensen。下路 Double Lift。辅助 Core JJ。替补打野 Mikey Young。教练 Ken。接着，让我们欢迎他们的对手，来自欧洲 LEC 赛区的 G2 Esports。上路 Wonder。打野 Yankos。中路 Caps。下路 Perks。辅助 Mickey。替补辅助 Promise Q。教练 Grab。让我们用最热情的掌声，再一次欢迎来到总决赛的2支队伍。
For the first time in our international history, Europe versus North America, the MSI final.
I mean, this is history, and NA versus EU finals is something people dreamed about since the early days of League.
I think the only thing that the NA and EU fans agree with is that we're not losing to the other side.
It's right there to take. If you want it, the world is watching.
We already took down the reigning champions. This is what we were built for, and it's a lot more than just winning. It's showing that we are the best team in the world, and that's what we all want.
I feel like we have so much more to offer than they do. That's why I'm not really scared.
I'm really happy that we showed up, and when they showed up, now we can just fight.
You want your legacy to be solid, like cemented in everyone's mind. And people really only can remember the winners.
I want to be on top and stay on top. For me, it's not just enough to be a champion. I want to be a legend.
Goes all the way back in with the flip. 5-point strike. Double kill for Cap. Oh, shockwave. Next is 1 or 2 more hits. Maybe not comes out. One down. Forces game 5.
Liquid not willing to let him walk away with the core JJ going in.
Absolutely outplayed.
Welcome to the finals of the 2019 Mid-Season Invitational. And who would have believed it was North America's Team Liquid versus Europe's G2 Esports. And here we are.
Good luck, Kobe. Good luck.
The two best teams of the tournament come from North America and Europe.
Yes, they do. It's It's crazy to think that this is where we ended up. Expectations coming into the tournament were that it would be Invictus Gaming versus SK Telecom. Both Titans were toppled, and now we have Team Liquid versus G2.
And it has been such an enjoyable tournament to watch. Not only have they subverted expectations, but they have done it in such an exciting manner that makes people coming into this finals legitimately excited for either side to win.
Yeah, it would be the first major Riot title for North America ever, and the first for Europe since the first World Championship in 2011. This is historic to make it here, and beyond that, to actually win and take your first title in so long.
And this is it. Someone has to take it. It's either North America or Europe. One of us has got to get it. You know, last year at the World Finals, many European fans were excited, but then they ended up getting 3-0'd, and they had to walk away upset. Today, regardless of the outcome, the West can feel happy and proud that both these teams made it to this point.
And both of these teams really have stayed true to themselves, true to their identities. And that's why people are also extremely excited just for the Champion Select to start. Because there's so many looks that we have seen from G2, and you wonder, what are the other surprises lying in wait, saved for the finals?
There's probably a lot. Especially, what's interesting as well is when you think about the brackets, you have G2 coming in expecting to play against IG, and then suddenly, oh, it's actually Team Liquid pulling the upset. On Team Liquid's side, I thought, you know, the G2 versus SKT matchup was a lot closer on paper. G2 had 2-0'd them during the group stage, even though SKT was looking a bit hotter, but at least that was a bit more of an expectation coming in. People thought Team Liquid was the number 4 team in this tournament, and they squeaked by the group stage 4 and 6. For G2, they were number 2 or 3, and they have subverted somewhat to now get here to the finals and have that really good shot at winning it.
Yeah, and the last time that G2 was at a final at MSI was against SK Telecom, and the fact that they were able to find that win yesterday was definitely a huge challenge for them to overcome. And now, for them and Europe, there's only one more hurdle left to overcome. But, you know, you then have to compare that to the weight of North America, where Team Liquid now make it to their second MSI final alongside CLG, and in their eyes, this is just as equal an opportunity because they've already taken down Invictus Gaming. They took down the favorites for the tournament, and they looked fantastic doing it.
Exactly. I think the story for both North America and Europe for, I'm going to say, the last 7 years, we'll discount the first World Championship, which of course Fnatic won. Every time you got to the finals or the semis, it was like, wow. You made it to the finals. Congratulations. Rest easy. You can go home because sorry, IG or SKT or RNG are just too good. This is the first time you get to the finals and say, no. This is the time they actually win the tournament and actually take the trophy.
And this tournament has been such an enjoyable follow-up to last year's Worlds, where really for the first time, a lot of these expectations were shattered. Cloud9, Vitality, G2, all of these teams, Fnatic, through that tournament, kind of left people up in the air of where to really and how to think about the game. Yet this follow-up here means that this is truly the world we live in. North America and Europe actually earn their spots in the finals and deservedly extremely strong regions.
And so we've done a great job, gentlemen, of setting stakes, making people realize the weight of this. So let's talk about some League of Legends and the drafting that we're going to be seeing between these two teams. Because the thing that I noticed yesterday between G2 and SKT was early game was the name of the game. And the team that got that early advantage was the one that ran away with it.
Definitely true. That's why we've had a spotlight on junglers this entire tournament. You cannot succeed without your jungler succeeding in the early game. And especially true, as Deficio pointed out on the analyst test, for the G2 series. That is where they're looking. To me, though, my biggest question coming into this is what is going to happen with this Pyke pick? Because of all of the different looks that I've seen from G2, the Pyke is the scariest. The flexibility of it and the sheer mobility of this champion, creating chaos, sharing gold, changing matchups.
And we are in a Champion Select. We are into Game 1 of the MSI 2019 Finals. Team Liquid taking on G2 Esports. And what shocks me already was TL was on the receiving end in 96% of their games of the Taric ban. It's TL themselves actually dropping it off the table. Oh, I take that back. We do have, the graphics are wrong. G2 is the blue side here. They are the ones who banned Taric. They are the ones who dropped that off the table here as Team Liquid do again receive that ban.
So it is G2 with the Galio, the Taric, and the Rise ban. Fascinating that they actually look to take that one away. Typically, when we see Team Liquid playing on the red side, they actually put a lot of focus onto denying that Rise pick away from their opposition. Or actually, in their semifinal, they left it open, and then they traded it to grab the Sylas themselves.
Exactly. The Sylas has been their most successful of the flex picks, and the Rise so successful for G2. So it's so weird to see each team banning those two champions out and leaving up the junglers. Let's take a look here. And there it is. The Jarvan is going to be the first one locked in. So much success throughout this tournament with junglers that have the ability to make the early game impact on the different lanes.
And again, I want to reiterate, the graphic has been updated. G2 did choose blue side for game one, as was their right as the higher seed. This is Wunder taking the Jarvan, bringing it out of Smithy's hands, giving it to Jankos.
Now, I wonder if Team Liquid do what they often did during the group stage, or the second half of the group stage rather, and prioritize this bot side of the map. In their semifinals, they usually went for the Sylas into jungle pick, whether that be the Rek'Sai, the Jarvan, and sometimes even the Skarner. But this time right now, they've already locked in Varus. This heavily suggests that with the Galio gone, Tahm Kench should be the priority.
And some of the reasons throughout this turn that we've seen so much priority put on Varus, very strong laner. Also, bringing the ultimate with that crowd control to the mid-game team fights is a huge part of the identity of Team Liquid.
Speaking of identity, Xmithy gonna lock in the Skarner. This was the champion that he used to get that fourth game victory over Invictus Gaming, picking it into the Rek'Sai and finding a lot of success. And I think Team Liquid, they didn't want to go Tahm Kench here because they were afraid of the Xayah Rakan duo. And they have the option to pivot right now, but it looks like that they don't want it.
Rakan, a very big pick for Mickey X. Looks best when he is on an aggressor, when he can go forward, start the team fights. Perks, of course, really good on the Xayah alongside it. This is a player, back when he was a mid laner, would still play Xayah and get funneled on it. Certainly a lot of expertise in this champion. This is a premier bottom lane for G2.
Yeah, definitely a huge second round couple of power picks here for G2. Mickey X, some of the biggest moments for this player have been on the flashy champions that can create those engages, start those skirmishes, catch people off guard. And one of the reasons, Vedish, you're kind of alluding to possible pivots away from Tahm Kench after the Rakan, with the charm up, you can collect multiple members, with your CC and your engages. He does have to be a little bit careful of the burst damage coming out of the other side. And oftentimes we'll see teams that are against Rakan, especially in the mid lane, draft some of that burst damage to try and instantly kill him upon initiation, because that is the weakness of the champion, bit squishy.
G2 now looking to take away some of the safe picks that Impact has often defaulted to, the Kennen being the main one. They may look to take away the Gangplank, but he didn't actually play it a single time in their best of 5 against Invictus Gaming. So we'll see what G2 look to take away off the board. Maybe they look to take away Jensen Syndra or Orianna if they consider it a big threat, considering that the LeBlanc is already gone away from Caps.
Lissandra, of course, up as well if we are going to see mages throughout in the mid lane here. One final ban for G2 Esports. How good is their homework? What do they think Team Liquid would pick to best round out their composition? Vladimir is off the table. It's 2 bans at Impact. Typically plays long range, safe laners who don't need help, can get away from the 1v2s and then flank in the team fights. The Kennen, the Vladimir, and the Nico, all prime picks for him, are gone.
Exactly. Those big AoE abilities for team fights have been the common thread in Impact's picks. So very good, I think, couple of last bans there on the side of G2 to try and take that away. But he goes right back to where he started. In the group stage, Impact, the single best performing player of Team Liquid. Gangplank was a mainstay, tries to stay safe on the top side. And a big difference between Gangplank and the Kennen or Vladimir is that the ultimate can be committed without having to use your teleport to the other side of the map.
Well, now we see the Swain coming out from G2. Expectations are that this will be put up towards the top side. This was something we saw from Europe actually a lot last year and was a very common answer to things like the GP. We're also actually seeing a Morgana in the mid lane for Caps. This came out yesterday up against FLICKR for the side of Caps, and he wasn't able to have a huge amount of impact on it.
And now it means that you get the counter pick possibility here for Jensen in the mid lane. Team Liquid credited him with the reason for their win over IG was camp rookie, get Jensen ahead. He's a good player. He can carry us through. That strategy did work. And now Orianna, I would say Jensen's #1 signature pick is here in game 1 of the final.
And with these last 2 lock-ins of the mid laners, I don't expect as much camp towards the mid lane. Morgana Black Shield, the reason for this lax pick here from G2. Such a good defense against Skarner. Makes it so you don't have to pay those QSS taxes quite as quickly and quite as focused there. The Black Shield's such a good defense. So we will see how they get through the early game here, because again, my eyes turn towards the top side. This Swain pick for G2 seems to be one of the most advantageous points.
My expectations are that both teams actually look to invest a lot of resources towards the bot side of the map. I wouldn't be surprised to see Jankos actually make a level 2 play down on the duo to try and burn some summoner spells and see if they can leverage the level 6 spike of this Zyra Khan.
Biggest choice for Jankos. Will he go for the bottom side like you're talking about, or try and dive the gangplank?
We've got to see. Coaches shake hands after game 1 of Champions Select, a best of 5. There are at least 2 more drafts to go, but we're hoping it goes all the way to that 5th game. It's on to the 10 players' hands now. You hope the guidance you gave them was enough. You hope their practice got them ready for this event. But this will be the first ever major championship for North America and the first for Europe since 2011. G2 are the new ones to hold that mantle in Europe, and Team Liquid were built for this, to create a team that could win out of North America. And we are on to the Rift, that headless trophy in that top lane. That head will be replaced at the conclusion of this series with one of those icons. G2 or Tia will be immortalized in Summoner's Rift itself for winning MSI 2019.
I just want to revel in a couple more seconds for the fact that merely us being here now in this finals, G2 and Team Liquid have forced the entire competitive League of Legends scene into a paradigm shift. EU and NA fighting for everything.
Whew. That was a great moment, Kobe. I liked it a lot. Right,
I'm glad you were here to share it with me. But
and it's already beginning. A knock-up there on Jensen getting auto-attacked a bit. He should stay alive if the pool comes down, and a flag drops him dangerously low. Mickey could have considered actually committing the Ignite initially, but out they go after he earns about 30 gold.
Jensen is sitting on the cleanse. Mickey, the cooldown of the W is coming up soon. They could look for a play onto Core JJ. Forced to flash very early on. Questionable decision-making there from Core JJ.
Yeah, waiting in the brush, knowing 4 members are coming just to get a tongue lash, and then having to blow your flash for it. North America already on the losing end here of the level 1.
But TL's bottom lane will be able to get priority in this 2 versus 2 because Perks and Mickey forced to assist in terms of the early jungle advantage. But actually, Core JJ and Double F not going to try and leverage this right now. So actually, it's going to be a very even start.
And you can watch the pathing for the Jarvan of G2 right now. Jankos is in the river right now. Scuttle spawns in a few seconds, but he's already next to that brush as well. If there is a gank to be had, now he's on a ward, so it's not going to be too stealthy. But if there was an attempt for a bot lane pressure, it would be there.
Meanwhile, Xmithy clears off the red buff and the Raptor camp before heading into the top side scuttle. They will trade after the vision's been given over. Looks like Jankos is headed towards the Scuttle Crab to try and contest it. His mid lane is pushed. Xmithy does not have the support of his lanes.
He has the damage though, and with it being stunned, Smite will do bonus damage, gets it out before his opposing jungler can show up. And Smithy is currently up a camp right now as Wonder. Grabs to the 3 gold off the top, couple of 3 health, and we see the top lane was pushed in as the expectation is for this matchup.
Yeah, that is the exchange of going for the possibility of an early gank. Look, just trying to get down to the Skullcraft first there for Jankos, whereas Xmithy immediately on Skarner. You can annihilate those AoE camps even early on.
Now, what you'll notice is that Wonder running the Grasp of the Undying rather than the typical Klepto that we often see for Swain picks. One of the reasons for that is because something we've talked a lot about is how Impact likes to play safe, and on the Gangplank, it can be difficult to necessarily pick up those Klepto procs. So going for more of the sustain route and going much more for the, I'm just going to trade back with you every now and then, you try and hit me with your Q, well, fun fact, I'm going to hit you do with mine, and you can see how every single time, Wonder's coming out ahead in the trade.
Nice stun on a core JJ, dropped down about half HP, puts up the shield, but still chunked down about 250 as Guardian pops down as well. Good trading out of the G2 duo.
Yeah, and good focus there. You want to continue to attack the Tahm Kench. There's no flash on core JJ, as well as whittling down the health bar. If you can get through the potions, then you can do so much work pressuring and forcing them to lose CS. Control ward goes down for Xmithie in order to clear out some of the G2 vision. But because the bottom lane for G2 was able to push there, they also get the Scryer's Bloom plant and information on the enemy jungler's whereabouts.
Yeah, thanks to the pressure that G2's bot lane is applying, G2 actually have pressure in all 3 lanes right now. The Morgana has consistently pushed up in this 1v1. It's very difficult for many mages to trade against the Morg because you see this Tormented Soil, it goes down, it forces the push, and the Black Shield means that you're often going to lose out on these small trades in the lane.
Plus the fact that the level 1 forced Jensen 2 corrupting potion charges very early on, took 90% of his health bar in damage off the invade from G2. Currently, we're having a look bottom from Jankos in that Fog of War right now.
And he's in that brush right there, so if there is a play to be had, it could be a knockup on a double. You can see Core JJ playing towards the back. The slowest there, the knockup, they're gonna find one! And they're burning down Core JJ! First blood for G2 in the final! Xmithie has to run for the hills as TP comes in from an extra member. There is no extra kill to be had as Caps looks for a bind, finds damage on a double. If he's still taking the shots, under the turret they go, forcing the flash. What a play out of G2.
Still, G2 focusing on that weakness that they opened up in the level 1, attacking Core JJ, no flash on the Tahm Kench, first blood for G2.
Here we see the setup. Jankos comes in from the lane. Doublelift and Core JJ expected there to be presence in the river, which is why they were bringing Xmithie down. And notice how they completely ignore Doublelift and focus the flash, the support you were just saying at Kobe. G2 wanted to leverage where they already had an advantage, and they secure themselves first blood.
Then Caps walking up past the minions here as Doublelift tries to throw out the arrow, gets the flash off of the AD carry as well.
Great play out of G2 as we have Jankos coming down as well, and he knows there's no ward on him as Doublelift is very low on health, and Xmithie walks by a ward for this counter gank. This is a known 3-on-3. Now, do they have the damage output? Can Core JJ save the target? The slow comes in, Mickey X jumps back, and it looks like for now a safe recall, but that recall can be stopped. There are wards in that brush.
Great positioning there from Core JJ to keep his AD carry alive.
They're gonna go.
Ooh, they're going on Xmithie.
They know Doublelift isn't there. The slow is there on a Tahm Kench. He can eat it for a little bit, but he's gonna be knocked up. And here comes the TPs from everyone else. They try to buy some time, but Core JJ gonna die yet again. No TP for Doublelift. Instead it's Swain here, and the gangplank as well. The barrels come in, but there's no chain. He's gonna flash back to safety. The knockup coming in. They're gonna get yet another one. A double kill for Perks.
And G2 lead the game with 3 kills at 6 minutes. 2,000 is the goal lead as they find multiple successful ganks down towards the TL duo.
An explosive start right now as Jensen now tries to trade with Caps. Does put the shield on. QW might kill him. Black Shield, he flashes. Doesn't dodge the damage, but does stay alive.
Jensen trying to do work there in the mid lane with a disaster for Team Liquid that has gone on the bottom side. G2 are continuing to keep up this pressure. Doublelift on the ward here, getting the recall off, but Xmithie and Core JJ still far up in the lane, so as soon as it completes, Jankos and Mickey X know they can go for this.
And notice how both top laners have just gone back to base. Wonder is waiting for the potential TP as Impact immediately comes in. At this point, Xmithie and Impact realize they cannot win a 2v4, so they split apart and they get away with minimal losses as they can.
Yeah, G2 know that in all scenarios, they will be up 1 member because Doublelift does not have teleport on the Varus, and they force him back to base. So even if teleports go off, they will always be answered, and G2 is able to take advantage of those numbers.
And now Impact is in this awkward situation where a slow push has started against him. So in a matchup where he's constantly getting harassed and is forced to kind of play under his turret, he's now forced to overextend without a flash against a level 6 Swain that already has a very big CS advantage.
GG right now smashing this early game, 1,500 gold up, watching the trades now on the bottom side yet again. It is a farm lead for the TL side of things, but 2 kills obviously means a lot more on Perks, and we now have the attempt towards top lane. A slow, now comes the cage on top without flash. No easy way out for Impact, trying to run, not rooted just yet, but here comes the Swain ultimate, and they might just have the damage. Oh, he's running for dear life, the flash, as soon as it's enabled, he gets it. Wonder knocks down the 4th kill of the game.
Jankos staying on the warpath here because of the bottom lane shenanigans. No flash on Impact, and he immediately goes to attack it. You pointed out the wave in a very bad spot, pushing away from him. Gangplank with no flash. is taken down.
This is exactly what we talked about, Kobe, and Jankos reads it too. He finds himself his 4th kill of the game, 100% kill participation, and coming into this series, you were talking about it, Kobe. We keep our eyes on the junglers, and so far, Jankos is the one that's getting this early lead for G2.
A lot of this all built out of at level 1. The flashless CoreJJ was targeted. The bot lane pressure has been great as G2 can find ways to win through every single one of these lanes. Caps very frequently selfless in his ability to roam down or TP down to the other sides and get those kills coming through.
Yeah, G2 have been one of the best teams at identifying just one weakness and forcing that weakness into a cascading effect of advantages for their entire map. Right now, pretty much everywhere except for mid lane is going extremely well for them.
And this is something that Deficio was saying on the desk, where Caps is a player that is more than happy to sacrifice his own resources to better enable the team. And he's an individual that, on Morgana, can just offer a lot of utility. He's not there to be the damage dealer. He's there to provide a black shield, provide the CC from his binding and his ult, and then allow players like Perks, like Wonder, to be the big threats as we move into the mid-game.
And of course, good thing for that is both Wonder and Perks are the gold leaders of the game above everyone else on the Rift. Now a fight towards bottom side yet again. Jankos still here to counter gank, and Predator will be nothing.
Yeah, first Predator cooldown there for Xmithy used to get in position. Jankos is the level ahead, and so him going down bottom side for the counter gank as well means there's no fight opportunity.
Well, they find the ult on a Perks, though. Good damage. Now the ult's on top. Looking for the dive underneath the turret. His gangplank can't be turned around. 5-0 to G2.
Doublelift looks like that he's in a position to punish Perks. He throws out the ultimate and they think, hey, we can go for this. But Mickey says, no, you will not touch my AD carry. Immediately flash ulties on top of Doublelift and forces him to collapse.
And whenever a team has this much control over bottom side of the map, means Dragon is theirs for the taking. Xmithy's full health, and he wants to contest it. Doublelift, as you can see on the minimap, though, is so far away, they won't have the numbers to do it.
Tormented Soul helps guarantee it, and the last auto attack comes through as the Dragons picked up at 10 minutes. G2 Esports, the gold lead already, 3,000. The Ocean Drake helps cement it. They are smashing game 1.
Take another look at this. CoreJJ uses the Devour onto Doublelift, and as you said, they did get the ultimate, but Mickey X goes right in, immediately lands a knockup, and we're back to live, back to a dead Tom Kench.
Looks like CoreJJ ulted the Skarner in, but there were already reinforcements, and a 3v2 is an easy kill. This is getting out of hand. Team Liquid falling away rapidly as you do have an answer for every single move that is made.
Jankos is popping off in this game. He just seems to be in the right place at the right time at every single moment. He has been involved in every single kill, and he's almost at a point where he has that license to kill.
Yeah, just a case of hammering an advantage on the map in the same spot over and over and over again. Team Liquid trying to make plays there, but they're so weak that they're always starting with a disadvantage and overextending here and being punished. Here's another look at the attempt at trying to right what has gone wrong here, but they go right into 3 members. Another teleport is available for G2. They have Caps once again on the Morgana, using it to the bottom side, top side impact.
Oh, Demonic Ascension looking to knock down Impact it again, forces the flash out of him. This time Wonder can't chase through, but it's still a big summoner down, and as Jankos comes up and kills a wave of ward, Impact is no longer allowed to lane up here.
Really well, good play there from Impact. Is the same thing that he does before, where he utilizes the slow to then flash around the long wall up towards top side and create a big enough gap that allows him to get away from Wonder. The other thing that I wanted to highlight that G2 has been doing extremely well so far this game is, if we have a quick look at the minimap, you'll notice towards the bottom side, they've actually managed to maintain such excellent vision control, which is why they've been able to come out on top of every single play that has happened. Every time Xmithy tries to claw something back for the TL duo, it is there for a counter gank from Jankos in this area of Dark.
Ooh, an attempted fight almost comes through, but Jankos gets into the fog of war just in time, but Impact still chasing out of this one. Has the flash, though. Jankos could get away, and there will not be a fight to be had. They're going to try to babysit this relic here to hope that the Rift Herald is not picked up then by G2, but they've got to wait around a while for this one.
Jensen and the duo of Doublelift and CoreJJ have been brought up towards the mid lane, which means that Caps has now moved down towards bot. He doesn't have the teleport, but he's just picking up plates, making up for the small disadvantage that he finds himself in. But of course, Impact with the Gangplank ultimate can mitigate this and keep that bot tower alive.
Yeah, and even with the Gangplank ultimate, Caps gets another plate off that turret. That is about half the value of the Rift Herald Eye itself. So in him continuing to push down bottom, they still get some value out of Team Liquid camping that objective.
Ooh, nice ult right there. My first gets away from the shockwave. Jensen's first of the game, it looks like, and still no kills on the board for TL. The best they've gotten is denying picking up the Rift Herald, but bot lane still hemorrhaging gold in every single one of these lanes. Aside from mid, a lead here for G2.
Now, one of the big things for Team Liquid in their series against IG was that in the early game, they would actually match Invictus Gaming in a lot of these early skirmishes, and they actually found themselves in a decent gold lead very early on into the game. It was often in the mid game when IG looked to play around Baron, where they looked to falter, and then they relied on their late game team fighting. The core difference here is that every time TL has tried to match, they failed. They haven't been able to pick up any kills. They haven't been able to trade anywhere else on the map. And right now for Team Liquid, it feels like that they're losing just across the board.
They might be losing even some more as the fourth play comes out on top lane. Here comes a dive on Impact yet again. Demonic Ascension, but can they burn him down? Yes, Doublelift is there to turn around the first kill of the final, but Jankos able to cleanly walk away, gets the flash out of the tongue lash.
So Team Liquid finally answer back. CoreJJ with a clutch ultimate to help cut off the escape route of Wonder, and the arrival of Doublelift secures Team Liquid's first kill of the game.
They have to keep looking for those opportunities. You have to fight your way back into a game. If something that we have learned over the last couple of international tournaments, you cannot sit back and hope for the mistakes of your opponent to get you back inside. You have to create some opportunities. And you're going to have to create a lot of them because G2 have an overwhelming early game lead.
And it's what we saw from SKT yesterday when they went up against G2 in Game 4. SKT nearly pulled it back with their miracle plays. And now we get to see here the dive being set up from G2. Doublelift coming in from the lane, a beautiful flash ultimate. And the rest of G2 are nowhere else to answer. The Morgana doesn't have the teleport. The Zyra Khan have just gone back to base. Very easy punish from the side of Team Liquid.
In the aftermath, G2 back out on the map there with Perks, are able to finish up the turret, and now the only outer turret that is left standing for Team Liquid is that mid lane. That is their bastion of hope. That is their point of defense right now. With the dragon spawning, I think it will be dangerous for them to even attempt to go out into neutral territory, and they should probably remain defensive at this time. They simply do not have the extra information to try and set up an offensive move.
We'll see if Team Liquid's defense can be good because G2 happen to keep the pressure on. The next Drake has spawned very recently. We have 5 minutes until Baron, but the mid lane's already there. That bastion of defense just being shut down. 1 kill picked up ready to Xfinity, and look out for Jensen rooted. Shockwave is not going to be enough. They trade 1 for at the end of it all, and now Yanko's able to walk away off that kill.
Yet that's not over.
And Wonder's going to find one as well. Impact is summonerless. He's trying to get away from the slows. He's got CoreJJ, but Jankos finds a knockup. Now trying to ferry him to safety, pushed away, but Mickey X finds it again. They look for the kill and the support, and they will get yet another. It's 11-2, and G2 cannot be stopped.
G2 find themselves 4 more kills as Doublelift tries to get something back on the other side of the map. They set up the dive on the mid lane. The Zyra Khan combined with Caps' Morgana just swept through Jensen, who's just barely able to get something back to Team Liquid.
G2 making a statement in game number 1 here. The killer instinct alive in all of them. Going for the dive here. Mickey does get both of them, locking them up, so they pick up the first kill here. Jensen does get away, and with his shockwave, he trades back. The silver lining for Team Liquid getting that 1,000 gold bounty shutdown that you just saw, but then Impact caught in his own jungle here as Wonder and Jankos turn on him.
And notice here how Jankos realizes Impact is already dead. He wants to get more targets, so he dives onto CoreJJ. He focuses the support so that he cannot take Impact to safety, and with no flash, there was nowhere for CoreJJ to go.
Absolutely immaculate play. Jankos 1-0-9 in the final. He is a man who has stepped up large in G2's big victories. The World Semifinalist and MSI Finals, and maybe the champion of that as well. As the smite goes Xfinity's way, but the jungle being pulled apart, the gold lead still massive here. Despite that shutdown, it's actually grown. It's 7K now. As we saw earlier, G2, their biggest early game lead we have seen so far at MSI, and they are far and away the better team in game 1.
Things are looking very good for G2 in this first game of the best of 5. Still a long series to go, but they still have to be able to close it out. And remember that Team Liquid, they found some very big comebacks up against Invictus Gaming by punishing the small mistakes. And while they are at a big deficit, if they can find a good Baron, if they can get another big shutdown onto G2, then maybe they have windows back. Note that the Orianna already with the Luden's Echo completed and the
flat pen.
Yeah. Yep. You want to check the inventories for both stopwatches as well as QSSs at this point. Because one of the possible ways to find a pick, of course, is that Skarner ultimate. You're going to have to watch out for the Morganda positioning, though.
3 stopwatches on G2. No Quicksilver Sash just yet. Those picks could maybe happen, but it's probably difficult. Mid lane Siege goes for yet another round, and it's Team Liquid backing off. A little bit of wave clear, but they will submit, and they will knock down one. Now here comes the engagement again. Mickey finding several charms. The dunk comes in, but Cortej brings Skarner to safety. Wonder coming in with the Demonic Ascension, has a lot of damage available. Explodes it for one, almost knocks down Xmithie. No death just yet. Impact's had to run away, slowed down now by Cat. Fine's gonna come in. Shockwave finds a bit of damage, but no kills just yet. It's 2 for G2 and make it a third. They will not be stopped. They push through to the mid lane, and the 2-2 turret will fall. Xmithie just barely getting the recall away, but this is G2 pushing into the inhibitor turret.
G2 ripped through Team Liquid in game 1. Only 18.5 minutes, and they find themselves another 3 kills. They expose the base, but they don't want the inhibitor. They just want to walk away with the gold and walk away happy.
G2 with the lead since the level 1 before. Oh, Double Lift does get hit.
Takes some damage onto his Wonder, slows him down as well, but he can't take that fight either. Xmithie hoping that people are outnumbered. There's a squad nearby, actually, and there was not a fight to be had as Team Liquid walks away empty-handed.
So the first thing I want to draw viewers' attentions to as we get into this replay is the minimap. Notice where the Varus is, sitting in the top lane, which means this is a 4v5. G2 see this as an opportunity to force the engage, and Mickey focuses on the front line to keep them distracted while G2 get in position. The Jarvan locks down the Tahm Kench. You see a lot of AoE hitting pretty much everyone, yet the Shockwave is yet to come out, but it doesn't matter because Double Lift's ulti misses, and now Jensen is just looking for an opportunity.
Yeah, Jensen does hit a Shockwave onto 2 G2 carries, but everyone else on Team Liquid has already been chucked out. So there's no opportunity for any follow-up there, and G2 steamroll ahead. They've opened the way into Team Liquid's base. Inhibitor turret destroyed.
Also great awareness from Caps at the very end of that replay. He sidestepped a Varus Q in the midst of all that chaos. Just to have that awareness in that moment meant that Team Liquid, again, could have found that one small shutdown, but G2 end up losing no one.
All right, all that's left now for G2 is a bit of control around the Baron buff. They've already opened up Team Liquid's base. If they get the Baron, that will be the power they need to finish it off.
And here's the beginning of it, inside Fog of War, and you can just look at Team Liquid's movements, how far back they are, how reserved they are, and they'll be giving this one away. Team Liquid, oh, the stopwatch is burned, that's Capped without one resource. Now Xmithie is coming forward, does not have his flash, no blast cone. It is unstealable, and G2 earned through their map control and team fighting a sub 21-minute Baron.
Very clean early game and overall game from the side of G2. They punished the weak point, the flashless core JJ in the bottom side of the map. They then converted that into punishing Impact towards the top side to try and get Wonder ahead. And Yanko Sumi has just been the biggest playmaker of this team. 1-0 and 12, been involved in 13 of the 14 kills. He has stepped up massively throughout this tournament, and he is carrying G2 through this game 1.
Definitely has been an exceptional snowball here from G2. Team Liquid, when they continue to look for those plays to try and fight back into the game, there has always been an answer at every turn from G2. It's resulted in a very one-sided game. Now with Baron buff, they are knocking at the doors.
Team Liquid gonna grab the best that they can with Impact still pushing the bottom lane as they lose the health of this top side turret. It's wave clear and waiting, and hoping they don't lose too much. Mid is pushed in now as well as G2 continue the 5-man siege.
Now notice how G2 have split up across 2 lanes. They're not all funneling into one. They don't want to give Team Liquid that opportunity that they found against Invictus Gaming. The Spooky Ghosts are going to come out from Caps as he looks for a binding.
Slow, now a bind for the Xmithie. Will this be the engage? They put the feathers down. No root. Shockwave on the 3. Here comes the engage from Mickey, though. Gets the first knockup. Looks for the backline side. Plenty of damage coming through as Xmithie trying to run away. The turret's going to drop, but no champions just yet. Caps very low, but not dead either. Impact TPing in, and now on the backside, here comes Demon Flare, and it's a double kill already. Team Liquid pushed completely off. Double inhibitor gonna fall. The Nexus soon to follow.
Baron buff on G2, all 5 members standing, and they are on the Nexus turrets.
G2's first international championship since 2011 could be coming in now. One Nexus turret falling. They hope as game 1 of 3 could happen for them, but they will back off. 23 minutes in, they will wait. They will reset. And with more than a minute to Baron, the flash re-engage. They caught Jensen unaware. What a great kill for Mickey. They find the second as well. Psych, they're gonna end the game. No, they're not gonna reset after all.
The bait and switch into the bait and switch. G2, they look like they wanted to try and finish it there with the respawns of Double Lift and Impact, they do not want to overcommit. They're going to walk away with the kills, extending it to 18-2. They have a 13,000 gold lead, and they're going to be happy with that for now.
Freak with the triple psych there.
Yeah.
Does get me. Let me remind you, this is the first game of a best of 5. Here is another snare, though. Mickey, every time Jensen goes in with the Shockwave and finds it, Mickey answers with the Recon, finds the engage for G2. All they needed was a way inside the base to force the fight. And then Wonder, you can see, makes his way past Smithy. This Swain at the center of the team fight, sectioning off all of Team Liquid's members there, finds the 2 kills, destroys the base, and the Baron buff is still active, so G2 can continue the push.
And it's the support staff of G2 in this game 1, Mickey and Jankos. I've been giving a lot of praise to Jankos, but you highlighted it there. Mickey on these Rakan engages have been setting up so many great fights and turning around a lot of potential fights that Team Liquid tried to start. And now you can see him on the potential flank, looking for another opportunity as G2 push in towards the bot side of the map with only 8 seconds left on this Baron.
Well, that Baron has done plenty. 3,000 gold lead through that buff as double inhibitors are down, and this bottom inhib will drop its turret at the very least. Team Liquid gonna back up, a nice bind. Is this the engage? He's gonna be grabbed by CoreJJ, but here comes the dunk, and here's the engage by Wonder once again as they look for these kills. A big Charmer to knock him in the back line. It's already 1 kill. Make it a second as the Team Liquid members are falling fast and furious. G2 Esports in commanding fashion will take Game 1 of the 2019 MSI Finals. Europe versus North America, and G2 strikes first.
Honestly, a very beautiful game from the side of G2 Esports. The way in which they converted that early lead into such a powerful mid-game, it was just so one-sided. Team Liquid, it felt like that even though they tried to match, they tried so many times to be proactive and do what they did against Invictus Gaming, it just felt like that G2 read the play and shut them down every time.
Oftentimes, when you're behind on one side of the map, if you try and funnel more resources into trying saving that side of the map, then you just lose harder and harder, and that's what it looked like. More and more of an advantage from G2 defending that area.
And we talked about it in the draft where we were wondering where the junglers were going to go. Would it be top side or bot side? Because reality... Look, the thing is that when the bot side started to fall for Team Liquid, they couldn't play through mid. Orianna trying to snowball against the Morgana just isn't realistic. So in that moment, Xmithy's like, well, I don't know. Can I try and get a gangplank ahead against the Swain? Can I try and get the bot lane? Maybe I can. But in the end, it felt like that they had no options. They had no way to come back, and they got shut down.
He talked a little bit about it after their group stage games, but drafting more agency in their lane matchups so that they can actually create action is going to be very big if they want the series to go a different way.
We'll see what happens. 2 kills given up, 2 turrets given up, and in G2's minds, 2 games to go. The Stay from Analyst Desk ready to give their thoughts on how Game 1 played out.
Thank you very much, Freak. The hottest of starts here for the LEC representative in G2 Esports with an absolutely smashing victory over TL here in Game 1. We previewed the matchup, going lane by lane by lane to talk about how we expected the players themselves to match up against each other. I want to do the exact same thing with Champion Select here. Let's set the expectations for how these different lanes should have gone.
Right, so looking at top lane, Swain against GP. You're looking at GP getting pushed in under his turret. He can't really do a whole lot. He just tries to farm as much as he can, and he tries to survive if enemy jungler shows up. But he will lose on CS. But he has to scale. That's his job. Mid lane, you have the advantage for the Orianna. She will have priority in this lane. She can actually control the Morgana and push her down towards her side of the lane, but she's not running teleport, so she can't really leave the lane. And then bot lane, Varus Tahm-Kench, typically very controlled, can actually end up going, at worst case even, but also beat a lot of 2v2 lanes. Zyra Khan typically are waiting until Rakan can make aggressive plays. So if you look at it from G2's perspective, push top, no push mid, but TP, and that's important, and then make plays bot side with the Rakan.
That's the expectation. Let's take a look at how things actually played out.
And this is the reminder that CoreJJ lost his flash in the level 1, and this is where everything goes sideways, because what should have been an even lane is now a hard winning lane because of the playmaking ability of Mickey's Rakan.
And so much of this is just, trying to recover. The minion wave after the first gank is in a bad position, so you have to go back down there. Okay, they're teleporting. We have to send multiple members of us. We're not ready to fight just yet. This was a scaling comp on the side of Team Liquid that wanted to fight at like level 11. This is at level 5 for solo laners.
Yeah.
This is just against everything that they wanted to achieve with the draft.
And TP that we mentioned just before here being very important. Caps didn't use his TP back to lane to try and catch up in farm. He saved it to keep going to the bottom lane because that's where we would get all the plays. And I think that's super important.
And I just have to reiterate this point. You look at a squad like G2, when all of their champions have so much playmaking ability, especially between that Jarvan and that Rakan, that's exactly what you want. For TL, the fact that their only playmaking ability was really on Skarner at that point until like Orianna has a shockwave, you need core JJ. TL rely so much more on their support to make plays for them than G2 rely on Mickey. If Mickey gets his Rakan, it's a heyday, but they don't need Mickey to play that.
But this entire early game for Xmithie was supposed to be, hey, I can farm for level 6. I can just play for vision early because my mid laner is going to have control and my bot lane will have control. So on that side of the map, we are safe. It's just Impact who needs to survive. But he's been there in that situation many times. Even if he dies once or twice, it's not the end of the world as long as Xmithie can get to farm to 6. But he's not allowed to do that because Core JJ, and I've been on a team where a level 1 like that happens, ends up just wasting that flash early game that sets up easy gang spot.
For Core J, or rather for so many people, Core JJ was supposed to be the difference maker for Team Liquid, especially following that IG series. But in Game 1, it is his counterpart, Mickey X, who picks up MasterCard Player of the Game. For the Rakan, a pick he's impressed on all tournament long.
Yeah, it certainly is. Mickey's had some really standout performances on this, and I love watching him play the champion. We already mentioned, you know, there are 5 people that can attack you on this G2 lineup, but when you're able to utilize something like a Rakan to get the party started every single time in this early game, it was just really nice to watch.
And this draft was set up to be Rakan heaven for G2. They ban away Galio in the first phase so they can pick the Rakan blind for Mickey. Then they look at the side of TL and they see 5 champions with no dashes, which means Rakan and his knock-up, it's almost guaranteed to hit every time.
Well, looking ahead towards Game 2, I think most Team Liquid fans can kind of rest on the fact that so much of this game did depend on that level 1, the crucial flash being forfeited by TL. Yes, and then G2 capitalizing on that. They have selected blue side here for this second game. For TL, though, don't want to see that Tahm Kench again. What else do we want to see in Champions Select to maybe give them the leg up in the second game of the series?
I don't think any of this is a Champions Select issue. I agree that the Tahm Kench didn't look great. I didn't really understand the job because there's no 1-3-1 they can go towards with an Orianna, and you can't really save everyone from Rakan. But I think that this is you have the pace of the game all wrong right now. You can't start what has been an early game tournament by picking scaling and even lanes when you know that Caps is just going to get busy in the early game. I want to see either them attack mid lane as soon as they come onto Summoner's Rift with something like a Jarvan or a Rek'Sai, or they match the teleport and they just follow Caps around. Now, they've shown step number 1 so many times this tournament. That's what I expect them to go back to.
All right, well, G2 have drawn first blood, but Team Liquid are looking to strike back when we return for Game 2. We'll see you here in just a bit.
The slowest, they're the knockout, they're gonna find one, and they're burning down Core JJ. First blood for G2 in the final.
Means there's no fight opportunity.
Well, they find the ult on a perch, so good damage. Now the ult on top, looking for the dive underneath the turret.
I will go top. Ult in two. Okay, they are both dead. I stable.
Nice. Impact's gonna run away, slowed down now by Cat. Fine's gonna come in. Shockwave finds a bit of damage, but no kills just yet. It's 2 for G2 and make it a third. Turret's gonna drop, but no champions just yet. Cat's very low, but not dead either. Impact TPing in, and now on the backside, here comes Demon Flare. Here's the engage by Wunder once again as they look for these kills. A big charm to knock him in the back line. It's already 1 kill. Make it a second as the Team Liquid members are falling fast and furious.
A great product can define the present, but it takes the unprecedented to define the future. To go beyond what's next and change the world of gaming. To make history, break ground, and force the universe to take notice. The world's most powerful and most upgradable gaming laptop with Intel Core processors, the Area 51M, defines the future of gaming.
Welcome back to the Hooping Basketball Gymnasium stage for today's MSI final, and it started with a bang. G2 Esports clapped Team Liquid in the first game. Their hard-fought series over SKT convinced everyone that they were definitely a premier team, and then you look at game one there, and they so far look heads and shoulders over the competition.
Yes, I concur. Yes. That game was 100% G2, 100% of the time, even before the minion spawn. So I kind of already want to shift the lens towards game number 2. This is a best-of-5 series, and adaptations must be made on the side of Team Liquid if they want it to look competitive.
So the thing they always have to be conscientious of is level 1 plays from G2. They didn't show that many in the group stages. This was an intentional plan in the same way that during the regular season, they didn't do it. They brought all these crazy level 1 strats out against Origin in the semifinals and finals, and it caught Origin off guard multiple times. I feel like in this early game for game 1, they did the same thing for Team Liquid. So now Team Liquid have to turn their kind of reshape their focus, concentrate on setting up very early vision to track what G2 is up to. And honestly, I think they need to take Mickey off Rakan. This man can get very creative in the early levels, but also he was so instrumental alongside Jankos in setting up so many plays for the rest of G2 to run away with it.
Well, one of the big differences is blue side here for Team Liquid that very often frees up some bans. It also means that they could grab the Jarvan for themselves or force that ban, and that frees up some other options at the beginning of Champions Select. That's the trophy on the line for the North American or European champions, and Game 2's Champ Select has begun.
Now, the fascinating thing about Team Liquid is that they actually choose to ban away the Rise when they are on blue side. In the same way that G2 did in Game 1, they cannot afford to give it. They cannot afford to give it up because their priority is on getting Jarvan or maybe even Rek'Sai in the first rotation to guarantee that strong jungle matchup for Xmithie.
Definitely where how it all has started. Taric is also going to be banned, mirrored again on the other side here, so no Sona Taric games will make their way into the finals yet.
Interesting that Jace is still being banned from Team Liquid. It looks like that even though Impact actually played this a lot during the regular season of the LCS, they've just decided to completely move away from it and look to put priority elsewhere. With Sylas still up and available, this is something that TL could look to prioritize.
And Team Liquid have been pretty vocal about realizing what they need to take from this tournament to add to their own style to really make a new Team Liquid. And they want to still rely on those team fighting and those groupings towards the mid game. However, they also talked about wanting strong matchups that will allow and enable some early action from Xmithie.
Well, big Champion Select alert. Akali, Sylas, Jarvan, all available right now with the Jarvan ban. Rek'Sai becomes the only really premier jungler, but Akali and Sylas, of course, very important as well. And Team Liquid say, okay, Jensen, on the Akali you go. Can still go to Impact.
Now, I want to cast your minds back to the first time these two teams met, gentlemen.
It was Lysandra? Is that what you're referring to?
I believe that is what Cap said after he found a solo kill onto Jensen with the Sylas up against his Akali. And Caps has demonstrated both sides of the matchup and his proficiency in them, whereas Jensen during the group stages struggled on both sides of the matchup.
Seeing the lock-in, I am proud of Jensen and Team Liquid to be able to have the confidence to take this again, but I am also a bit cautious, a wee bit cautious. Now, some of those adaptations you're talking about Caps displaying may have, been some of the learnings and takeaways for Team Liquid. The Conqueror rune change, the build change. We'll see if those become a factor as Varus has been locked in for G2 and taken away from Team Liquid.
Now, I think the biggest debate Team Liquid's having right now is, do they go for Skarner or Rek'Sai, or do they just look in the bot lane? Because what we've seen is that if you go for Rek'Sai, then there's going to be an answer with the Skarner. But if you go for the Skarner, does G2 have something else that is prepared? So they decide to lock in their bot lane here, and this gives the freedom for G2 to lock in Rek'Sai, because then they can, of course, immediately ban the Skarner away.
Yeah, Team Liquid opting to give up the possible Rek'Sai here in exchange for a strong bottom lane matchup. They know that bottom lane will be targeted. They will whittle down Doublelift's champion pool here. They need the Ashe to compete with the bottom side because that is what was exploited in the last game. Yes, there was a level 1, there was a flash blown, but that is where the game was made.
And this Ashe complements nicely with the Akali because it can set up a lot of picks for the side of Team Liquid. This time in the mid game, they can look for G2, who often try to split up the map to try and catch them off guard and see if there are windows where they can find these kills and claw control over the game.
Two other points that matter here, of course, you've got decent jungle picks, so G2 can keep banning away junglers on one side. Team Liquid, of course, can start pushing away supports from Mickey X. The other one is we talked about how tracking Jankos and stopping those early ganks would be important. Ashe can do that outside of the jungle role with Hawkshot, try to track the Rek'Sai, say, okay, she's top side, we're okay to play aggressive bottom side. Has to be a recall and a 20-minute walk till we're in danger down here, and it gives some extra room for TL to play around.
Can confirm, Hawkshot, one of the most annoying abilities for junglers to deal with.
And now we see G2 rounding out their final ban with the Lee Sin. So with junglers taken off the board, my expectations are that they'll actually look to try and grab their mid laner right now. Could be the Lissandra, could even be something, oh, what am I talking about? Of course, I go for that. The Sylas has already been locked in. They'll grab themselves a support. The Thresh, I think, is something that Mickey has played a decent amount during the regular season. Pyke is another option that he could go for, depending on how aggressively that they want to play.
Well, I don't think he's the Pyke player on this team. Kennen is the most played top laner for Impact, and G2 sealed game 5 with Pyke into Kennen. There is a decent chance we see that here in this matchup. Does Team Liquid blink and say, we don't want to play that?
I am on the edge of my seat right now, Freak, seeing how the turn will actually come up in this Champion Select. What will Team Liquid answer with? They have to blind for Impact. Will it be the Kennen? Oh, that could bring up the Pyke solo lane. I thought it was so effective against the Kennen. Kennen unable to punish the Pyke in lane, even with the range advantage, because Pyke with the passive can back off, heal up, and Pyke always has an all-in threat through the Bone Skewer as well as the mobility of the champion.
Well, part of what helps G2 win that matchup is a lot of pressure and a lot of ganks from the mid lane and from the jungle going up there constantly. A great early aggressive jungler in the Olaf. There's the Pyke we expected at this point.
We are no longer surprised by a top lane Pyke.
We are no longer surprised by top lane Pyke from G2 Esports. This is their counter pick into ranged matchups, and it's a lot of pressure from jungle mid that turns it around. Xmithie now must stay ahead of Jankos, and Jensen must stay ahead of Caps to prevent that from happening.
Venice, you kept asking me about Champion Select points throughout yesterday, throughout this morning, and my #1 response was, I really think Team Liquid are going to be banning Pyke because it is so scary, offers so much for the versatility of this team, but you know, the gold sharing later on becomes a factor. The execute is such a big part when you combo with other possible sources of burst damage.
And the thing that I just have a fun story for you. I was talking to Mickey this morning and I was like, is today the day you get to prove you're the best Pyke player on the team? And he's like, I hope so. I really hope if I can get the right matchup. And you can see him when he was hovering that Thresh, he's like, I'm being robbed right now. This pick is being stolen from me, but you know what? I'm fine as long as I get to play another hook champion in the Thresh. And we spoke about pick potential on the side of Team Liquid. There is so much mobility and poke potential, pick potential rather, on the side of this G2 squad as well. So much skirmishing power with the draft that they've gone for.
All right, pressure is on for game 2 of this best-of-5 final. Who would have thought it was North America versus Europe, but it is. In G2, the new kings of Europe, you see that 5 on their chest, 5 championships in the 7 splits they've been in Europe. The most dominant team of Europe over the last 3.5 years. That is unquestionable. And they could bring home Europe's first trophy since 2011. G2, this is the new run for them. Team Liquid were built for this, and they've got to answer back now in game 2.
You've just hyped up the entire European continent right now, Freak. They're all looking at this Pyke. They saw game 1. They are feeling excited and then looking forward to seeing what they can do up against Team Liquid, who have tried to adapt coming into game 2.
I do think they should be hyped, Vedius, for this lineup. Adding Caps, Perks, the captain of the team willing to change lanes, and they still find success. Take a look at the invade, though. Olaf always gives you priority with the axe spam. That combined with Braum is basically a win in a level 1 skirmish. So Team Liquid trying to take looks here, while on the top side of your map, you see 2 members of Team Liquid trying to cover that pixel brush and disperse a little bit.
Team Liquid trying to match the early aggression that G2 demonstrated last game. But G2 actually showing a lot of respect, staying in darkness, trying to avoid all of the vision so that Jankos' starting point is unknown to Xmithie.
Yeah, recognizing the fact, Braum and Olaf on the enemy team with multiple other, Ash Volley as well is incredibly powerful as far as level 1. They know they have no place contesting it, so they don't get themselves into a dangerous spot. Let's go over the junglers here. Olaf, people may not have seen him quite a while, probably should have, can easily clear for himself. AoE start here on the Raptor camp, as you can see with the talisman start, no problem.
That's the Rek'Sai actually starting on his blue, immediately transferring into the Gromp, which means that Xmithy should have information on where the enemy jungler is now because Perkz and Mickey came to a lane rather late. You'll also notice that Jensen has actually akali Caps' Akali build, going for the Conqueror, and likely picking up the Leandries later on so that when they move off to a side lane, the Akali can actually come out in extended trades.
It's one of those things we touched on, learning from your opponents. In Team Liquid's victory over the defending world champions IG, Jensen locks in Lux into the Zoe matchup, learning from the North American LCS finals. Yet again here at the hands of Caps, learning from the Akali side of the Sylas matchup.
And here you can hear from just more than us as Shox caught up with G2's coach after the draft. Let's get ourselves a sideline report.
I just got a chance to catch up with G2's coach, Grabs. I first asked him about team morale. Obviously, after game 1, he said it's the same as before. We're not getting overheated. We were confident, and we still are. And of course, asked him about the Pyke pick once again. I asked him, is this now just going to be the standard for you guys? He said, no, it's still very situational. And in this case, it just works out very well. Their AD carry has no dash, so it is a perfect pick. I asked him also what he found about TL's composition. He said, well, nothing to be surprised by. This is a typical Team Liquid composition. And if they don't get a lead early, they don't win the game. So he's feeling pretty confident about this one.
And confidence in the bottom lane as Double have chunked down to 200 HP. They'll find a stun and a Thresh, but Jankos could go for a big play. Another play into the flash knockup, and CoreJJ will be knocked down for Jankos' second first blood of the match.
And a beautiful hook landed by Mickey to set up the play onto Doublelift. Absolutely beautiful execution. Nets G2 first blood once again.
There may be questions who the best Pyke on the team is, but no question who the best Thresh on the team is. Mickey, again, getting a lead on the bottom side of the map for G2.
And Jankos is the one that picks up the first blood on this Rek'Sai. Everyone knows how devastating this champion can be, and now he's looking to relieve some pressure mid.
Oh, not spotted right now. They do know Olaf is around. The smoke shroud comes out, and it's going to be some damage. Caps finds the stun as Conqueror pops on both sides. Plenty of damage there, no knockup yet for Jankos. Keep in mind, it is a flashless Rek'Sai. Can't go too aggressive without giving away an opportunity. It's going to be wave clear, and the first recall forced out by Caps.
Like the appearance of Xmithy in the mid lane, but here we see keep your eyes on Mickey, and notice how he goes in between the minions just as it dies. Double of paths the wrong way. He gets hooked up underneath the tower. Now, while he doesn't take a tower shot, the damage is already done, which means that he's forced to flash early, and then CoreJJ has to give up his life so that his AD carry can survive. But that's 3 out of 4 summoner spells burnt. Which means that Jankos could look for a potential play once again bot lane.
Now Jensen's got to be careful as well. Not getting hit just yet, but we know Caps can try to find something. Looks for the stun, not getting it yet. Now the rest of the squad is here. 3-on-3 as now Perkz is over the wall. This is a fight that G2 might win. Look at Jankos. He's flashless and Jensen is on the board. But now it's towards CoreJJ. He will be shut down as well as G2 answer back.
Yep, 1 kill for Jensen on the Akali. 1 kill for Sylas on the... One for G2.
And it is... Caps that ends up picking that one up in the mid lane, but in that situation, TL knew, or expected rather, this play to come out. They had 3 people all moving towards this mid lane position, and they knew that the Rek'Sai had no flash, so he was the immediate target focus, and in the early game, he's very squishy, so they were able to come out on top. What they weren't expecting was the arrival of Perkz, and that extra member, that extra bit of damage, enabled G2 to turn it into a 1-4.
All right, let's take another look at it. Jankos on the Rek'Sai, still staying underground, so he does get the pings to see that Xmithy and CoreJJ are arriving. And CoreJJ makes the dash in to start the action here, and Team Liquid immediately turn on Jankos. They get the first kill, but on the same token, yes, the Rek'Sai doesn't have a flash because he went bottom side and killed the Braum, taking the Braum's flash as well, so CoreJJ also no way out of the fight, and mid laners both get kills.
And notice how Mickey did not use his lantern to actually try and save Jankos. He made the decision in the moment to try and bring Perkz into the fight because he realized my jungler is already gone. Rather than try and save him, let's redeem this situation. So I'd much rather have more damage than try and save a lost ball.
And that's going to be over the wall for Jankos. G2 knowing all about redemption. It's been good for them so far over time. Now a fight towards Perkz. What a great lantern there. I do want to point out that Jensen has yet to back. He's still holding on to his teleport, landing as long as he can for a later, bigger power spike. There is finally the items coming through. That is a Cutlass in, and he has better items so far than Caps in his mid lane.
And despite the extra kill for G2, because of the Kennen on the top side with Klepto, you can see that Team Liquid actually slightly more gold still. A lot of it is focused on that Kennen matchup, though.
And what's interesting here is that yesterday when we saw Wunder playing his Pyke into Khan's Kennen, it was actually surprisingly even. And I think a part of that was Khan wasn't familiar or used to the matchup with the Kennen into Pyke. Here we're seeing a lot more confident play from the side of Impact. Not only does that show his confidence on the Kennen, but it also shows that he's been paying a lot of attention to how Wunder plays this Pyke, but he's also aware of where the jungle attention is going. He knows that a lot of focus is around the bot side of the map, so he can look to play aggressive and actually build up a decent lead in this 1v1.
Looking across the lanes right now, it's fairly equal across the board. The first blood for Jankos answered pretty well by Xmithy's extra farm being Olaf. Most of this gold lead for TL is in the top lane. This almost 20 CS lead for Impact. Expected based on the matchup. Again, the way it flips is getting pressure from your other teammates. And as we watch Caps and Jensen fight off back and forth, as he steals the Akali ult, could this be the all-in that Caps wants to look for? Not just yet as he walks away.
Yeah, Xmithy in the wings here, threatening to turn that 1v1 upside down, and Caps backs off.
Very close, so you can see the break point for this Sylas versus Akali matchup. Once she gets the Gunblade, and in particular, once she gets that Liandry's, she'll be in a much better position. But in the interim, with Caps having that level 6 and having a couple more items under his belt, he's coming out ahead in a lot of these small trades.
Yeah, we can take the opportunity to dive a little bit into those adjustments that Caps showed in this matchup that Jensen will probably be learning from. You know, there are damage over time adjustments. Let's talk about the top side, though. Gank incoming.
The first attempt to gank topside. Impact had just burned his teleport. Protobelt to the side, then Jukes the other way around. Does get away from the Bone Skewer. The guessing game this time around does go to Impact.
So this time around, Wunder will just walk away, unable to land the skill shot. Good use of the Protobelt from Impact to make things even harder for Wunder to land that. The Tiamat has now come through for Wunder, which means he has a little bit more pressure in the 1 versus 1. But speaking of pressure, Caps continuing to push in this one, in this mid lane.
Quick wave clear there. The CS difference 6 right here in this mid lane. They both got 300 gold kills, and just that small lead as Caps really wants to stop that recall. Takes a few turret shots for it, but does slow Jensen down. That might mean he loses a couple of CS on the way back.
Yeah, that's a pretty big delay as far as allowing him to push up. We'll see if the teleport is burned. Jensen is going to use it. Xmithy, 2 members of G2 on his tail.
It's going to be a fight over this top river as Mickey X roams around. A great smite for Jankos. Jukes away as Xmithy won't find himself a slow just yet, and now we have Caps recalling on a ward. That could be face checked though by Jensen, and now a fight in top side as they trade stuns here, and the Pyke ult still up, so a major cooldown advantage and health advantage to keep in mind there is now Jankos with flash, could look for the play. The Wunder's going to heal up and knock down the wave.
The E from Impact just came back up, so Wunder and Jankos could not look for the play. Impact saw an opportunity to try and at least release some pressure towards the top side, maybe find a kill. Unfortunately, does not convert into anything for him. But in terms of how the early game is going, TL feel pretty confident. We did hear from Grabs that his expectations are that if TL don't get ahead in the early, then they'll fall off. And I think one of the big reasons for that is we already talked about how Sylas into the Akali is typically Sylas favored, and it usually only gets harder unless you kind of take this pivot in terms of itemization. But also, Pyke becomes so difficult to deal with in the late game because of how much mobility he has and how easy it is for him to find picks onto squishy targets like the Ashe.
Yeah, the Ashe is going to have a lot of things to dodge here. Double F going to rely on the flash because there is a Varus ultimate, Mickey on the Thresh, a diving combination of the Pyke and the Rek'Sai will all be going for him.
And speaking of Ashe, we have to keep our eyes on the bot lane because notice how Jensen and Caps have a difference in summoner spells right now. Jensen uses teleport to get back into lane. Caps is available, which means they can create a numbers advantage, which is why Jankos is posturing and they're looking to try and make a play.
And Hawkshot missed Jankos and Wunder's roaming down with Mobies. They do not know this is a 4v2.
Yep, bottom lane for Team Liquid has been pushed up the majority of this game. They're playing it cautiously now, seeing the movements.
The Spidey senses were tingling for the duo of Team Liquid. They're going to back away. They weren't sure where Wunder was. They saw Caps posturing. which means that for now they will be safe.
This should be a move from G2 to try and get something out of it, though. They don't have a teleport on Wonder, so he's going mid.
He is in mid, looking for the pull off on a Jensen, get out of the Shroud. Plenty of damage coming out here. Here comes the rest of it. Not quite finding the kill. Jensen not in execute range.
And they're also starting up the Dragon during this, so they are going to get a Mountain Dragon in exchange for impact, as you can see on the mini-map on Kennen, getting a couple turret plates.
This is still great for Team Liquid, though. They force a flash.
Flash force now an ult out of CoreJJ. Ult's back away, and just barely stays alive, but that is 3 summoners lost on the Team Liquid side just for a couple of ults of G2. They are getting leads across the map, and now Wonder fighting with Smithy. Keep in mind, if Olaf gets too low, he can be executed, and Caps has an Akali ult on top. They are explosive here, these two.
Yep, mid lane pressure here from G2, since Jensen just went back to base, means that they get to chase Smithy out of the river, and they have to abandon that minion wave.
But the reason why I was saying that this is actually still pretty good for Team Liquid, outside of them losing all their summoners bot, was the fact that they got a lot of turret plates top, but now it could be terrible for Team Liquid.
Just Ash Arrow, they hit the stun on a perk, but here comes the knock up there towards CoreJJ. TP comes in as Caps joins in, they find the first. Nice stopwatch buys time, but the Dragro, it's gonna be easy to juggle around as Perks finds kill number 2, and G2 up 4-1. Now Jensen is here, but he is very much outnumbered. Dives in for a fight. Look at the crowd control, has to flash away. Now it's Impact on top, and it's Team Liquid looking for a comeback kill, but they cannot quite find it. Finally, Protoa gets one. Impact, he's gonna find number 2, and he saves the bottom lane.
Impact barely scraping together some gold for Team Liquid after G2 get another plate off of the turret after the kills, topside as well. This time it is Wonder left split pushing. Let's take another look at this. As he said, they blew all of the summoners save for the heal on double up to bottom side, and the ultimate from CoreJJ was down as well, so they called for the 4-person dive from G2. With the stopwatch there from Mickey, able to drop the tower aggro, they pull off the initial kills, they take down the plate, and then with Jensen roaming down, they make the call for Impact to come in with flash on Kennen. A lot of AoE damage done by Jensen. They do trade the 2 flashes there and get the last kill with this Proto Belt. Also, Yanko's coming in and trying to defend Caps, means that Impact will get the stun and get a second.
This is what Papa Smithy would call tactical inting from Jensen. He dives in, and it looks like that he's going in for a 1v4. Why is he making this play? Well, he's doing it to bait G2 to overextend underneath the tower to allow Impact to find this beautiful setup with the Cannon ultimate. And due to his great roam, they're able to turn it 2 for 2 and actually secure themselves the gold lead.
And Power Spike's coming in. Gunblade now done for Jensen. A Rift Herald picked up with 20 seconds to summon it before the plates drop. That would be a nice 300 gold donation that he would love to get if it can happen. Right now, though, G2 pressuring top side as a lane swap around. Mickey X works up there alongside Devilt and CoreJJ. Camp's going down. G2 completely taking over this top river.
The fact that Team Liquid secure themselves the Rift Herald means that they're the ones set up for a siege. If they can land it onto a tower with the plates gone, it should be a pretty easy objective. But setting up for that will be the hard part, as you rightly said, Freak. It is G2 that seem to have main control, especially around the topside river.
Certainly with the vision here. Zombie wards and control wards flooding the river for G2. And as you can see with this toggle, Team Liquid no longer have any early alert system for as to where the enemy transitions are going to come from.
Look at the next big play as Caps is the one to pressure in the mid lane pretty easily. Has nice mana regen thanks to his lost chapter, and off he goes around the map. Wonder roaming around quickly again, has Moby Boots, able to shove the wave in with his Tiamat, look for mid, then come back to bot lane before anything is lost. This turret is low. That is what TL had done in their 2-on-2, but there will not be any minis lost in the turret.
I want to point out that Team Liquid's gold lead still is all on Impact. He basically has a over 2,000 gold advantage over his lane opponent. And that is so much of Team Liquid's power. So if they are going to fight, they have to have this Kennen. The big AoE magic damage ultimate is their biggest tool.
And the scariest thing about this is Team Liquid want to try and utilize that now. Because the longer they wait, if Pike can find those kills, he very quickly comes back.
It's a flash for the first stun. Plenty damage towards Impact. Now trying to stay alive with Slicing Maelstrom. But here comes the rest of it. Oh, Protoball buys a bit of space, but still will drop 1-for-0 in the bottom lane.
Impact does what he can to try and avoid the execution from Wonder. And while he doesn't get the kill to the Pike, Unfortunately, he cannot get away from death.
Impact actually goes down. G2 attack Team Liquid's biggest strength, and with that, a counterplay on top side. Rift Hold is activated, Hook is landed, but again, this is the weak side of the map right now for G2 because they committed 2 members to go kill Impact.
Yeah, and I like this play from Team Liquid, Kobe, because they could choose to keep the pressure up if they wanted to. They've even, I'm looking at the location of the Kali right now, she's actually gone down bot.
This could be winnable right now. Wonder does not have an ultimate, and the damage does come through. Jensen finds the kill on the push as Yanko's too far away to help.
This is a great situation for Team Liquid to find themselves in right now. Even though they lost Impact, Akali gets himself another kill, and they're able to secure a top tower, so they sit with the gold lead still in their back pocket.
Definitely strong from the Team Liquid members to maintain their poise. Even though Impact does get killed, the answer is even better. Rift Herald on top side, get the tower, and Jensen transitioning down to bottom side to answer with the kill. G2, though, still pushed ahead, got the bottom turret. Elemental Dragon's the next objective.
And we can see the clear difference between Game 1 and Game 2. Team Liquid did not concede as much in the early game. They weren't losing all across the board, and Jankos was not able to snowball kill after kill after kill. So now they're transitioning into the mid game with a 1.5k gold lead. Their cannon top is extremely strong, and Team Liquid are actually the team that's in the better position to force fights.
And again, we keep looking at this cannon top, Impact. He has flash available, teleport available, is level 11 with the Proto Belt. There is so much power here for Team Liquid. The big AoE team fights have been what they have relied on throughout the history of this team. If that is going to get them back into this series, it could be a very critical mid-game play.
And you look at the individual contributors here for TL, Impact and Jensen are the gold leaders of the game. It's now the TL solos in the driver's seat. Jankos with his couple of kills actually has a lot of the share of G2's money, and now we look at mid-pressure. Ash arrow used under the turret, and CoreJJ takes it up as Flash comes down. Looking for the crystal arrow, finds one back, but not someone in range as the turret stays alive.
CoreJJ flashing to jump in to save Doublelift's life there as Doublelift flashes out. Big play there from G2 to get a lot of summoner spells and cooldowns. However, they don't come away with the kill. Jensen on the outside is Akali, gonna throw down the Shroud.
Also a bit of luck there for Doublelift because Wonder was not close enough to land that execute. It came out a little bit delayed, which means Doublelift had time to flash out of that situation, but that could have been his death. Would he have been a little bit slower?
There are definitely a lot of very scary pick tools on the side of G2. Now that there are no flashes on the Ashe or Braum, the Rek'Sai, the Varus, the Pike, all very threatening. Another Lantern here from Mickey is going to save Perks without the need of any summoners.
And look at the two side lanes right now. You can see that Caps has actually pushed in towards the top side and was going up against Impact. Impact kind of postured for a potential 1 versus 1, decided not to go for it because of the positioning of the wave. But as an answer to losing pressure on one side lane, they've gained it in the other. Jensen knows that he can win the 1v1 against Wonder, so they've kept him in this side lane to match up against the Pike, and Wonder is forced to play on the defensive. He can't look for as many roams as he was doing prior in this game.
Alex Smithy back towards the mid lane. Akali waiting and try brush down there as it's a defensive wave caught up by Caps with Jankos near him as well as you look around the mini-map. It is G2 forced to be on their side of the river. TL up in gold and up in pressure. Knocking on some of these wards here and trying to get some of this control back. Game 2 a lot closer than Game 1. It was nearly over at this point in the first one. Good to see some signs of life for the North American squad.
Yeah, and there's so many ways that these team fights can look. Because of the versatility of these champions, a lot of this is going to be about protecting your flanks with vision. Like Smithy does get hooked in, but it's not going to be a dangerous area because Team Liquid have been able to carve out an area around the mid lane here with a little bit of true sight.
The thing I'm most scared of for Team Liquid is this Pike. If he finds himself 1 kill, remember that he shares that gold with the rest of his team. So not only does he come back into the game, but his allies only continue to get stronger.
And there's CG right now. The Molotov is on, plenty of damage, finding a stun onto the support. But again, the ult comes across, stopping TL, pushing them back. Now where they're being engaged, he's exhausted. He's taking a lot of damage. Impact's gonna try for the play. He's already burned the flash, but he can't get into the opposing lineup and will not find a single stun. A clean disengage for G2.
They actually tried to set up that dive onto Team Liquid. Incredibly dangerous thing to do, especially against the cannon, but Mickey coming out clutch once again. Wonder looking for an execute, but again, not quite reaching the threshold to find that kill onto Team Liquid.
Yeah, G2 poking around, getting some harassment down. They do burn the flash off of Kennen, which is huge. But again, no kills being given over yet.
That fight was 3 ults for 3, but Caps' cooldown is much shorter than the rest, and Impact also burned a flash. That was a cooldown lead to G2 as we look in the aftermath of that fight. Turret stays alive, and they both go back to clearing their camps here. Waiting as stopwatches come in, and the beginning of Azonia's hourglass here for Impact.
Mickey X here. The exhaust is critical in dealing with impact on the Kennen. Also, the plays backward to deny Kennen those initiations are what will mean the difference in these team fights, whether G2 gets caught in the big electrical storm or not. Right now, they have a pretty good flash advantage there with Perks having his own, and the access to the Lantern has made a big difference.
I completely agree with you as well, Kobe. I think that how each team executes upon these fights will be so crucial in how this game plays out as the Enchanted Crystal Arrow lands.
Corjay takes it and burns the Glens to get away from this one, but that is still a great Enchanted Crystal Arrow as one turret does fall. Now the hook into his Impact. They try to burn him down. He gets a stopwatch off, but not the Slicing Maelstrom. Here comes the engage. It's all about Olaf, and it's about Akali. Wonder finds it first at Impact. It's a 1-for-1 so far to the back line. Jensen finds a second. Xmithie is low, but the team able to push forward. Team Liquid lose the turret. They win the fight. Now it's time for round 2. Jensen is low, cannot find the kill. It is Cap who says he can get the kill and sends him back to Lissandra. It's 3v3 now in this fight as the channel comes in. Look for the pull. G2 get kill number 3 and number 4. Doublelift is alone and he will die. The ace for G2.
It all came down to execution in the end. Things were looking so good for Team Liquid at the start of that fight, but the longer it went on, the better it was for G2. Caps comes up clutch. He gets the turnaround for G2. He finds the triple kill, and they walk away the victors.
It was all the re-stealth from Caps and Wonder after the team fight, going to their control ward and pulling the surprise attack. Here's another look at the secondary initiation. Impact with the Zonia does deny the execute, and Xmithie goes in on Olaf to create some room for Jensen, who flashes over to finish the kill onto Perks. At this point, Team Liquid split, and they lose track of Wonder and Caps. Going into this control ward on that bush, like we talked about, they find the surprise onto Jensen. While CoreJJ and Doublelift were pushing mid lane, they simply cannot join to make the 4v3 matter. And G2, after picking up that kill onto the Akali, they can turn on the rest of the Team Liquid members.
And now a play towards Wonder at very low health. He's gonna find a stun on the one side, and without the Lantern, Perks is an option, but no, puts the ult down, able to walk away. And Wonder regen 70% of damage taken. He's back to fighting shape right now as G2 looks to fight more.
Kennen is sitting in the bot lane. He does have his teleport and the ultimate available, looking for potential flank wards on the minimap, but currently there are none. TL choose to disengage, and both teams just continuing to posture. I think you hit the nail on the head, Kobe. That decision-making from TL in that moment, if they'd all just committed to either going for the mid tower or grouping in the river, maybe that fight could have gone in their favor, but the split decision, G2 was immediate to capitalize on, and they were able to get the outplay.
Top side.
Looking for Caps. He does have the Akali ult under his wing, so he can get really, really far. TP now comes in for the squad. Look how much damage he gets towards Jensen. Nearly picks up the kill, and the reinforcements are in. A stopwatch burn, and in goes Kennen, trying to turn it around. 1-for-0, make it 1-for-1, as Wonder is now dead. Xmithie trying to stay alive with the kills. Just come through fast and furious. G2 win yet another team fight.
And Baron is standing right here, primed for G2 to force right now. They already have plenty of wards down. They're going to go straight for it.
Claps has arrived. 7 kills on the Sylas, takes the better of the matchup. And look at this, a 2,000 gold lead. Baron of formality. Team Liquid will only knock down an outer turret. G2 will not be stopped this close to the championship.
Things were so close between these two teams. Ooh, Caps, he's looking for CoreJJ.
He's gonna get that kill. I pretty much guarantee it. Braum running for his life, but he's gonna fall as well. Make that kill number 8.
Yep. CoreJJ stays around to finish off the turret for Team Liquid, trying to get something back for themselves.
Wow.
G2 now with the Baron buff. 20k damage done in this game by Caps.
Ooh, will he spot Doublelift though? Looks like he's not going to go for it. Doesn't have vision on the enemy side. Yankris will steal away some of these camps, but That top lane play snowballed out of control for Team Liquid so quickly. We're going to have a quick look back at it. Notice how quickly Cap steals away the Akali ultimate, but also notice that Jensen doesn't have his ulti as well. So the moment that the TP comes in, Team Liquid realize they have to disengage. If they can get the cannon in, maybe they can turn it around, but it's already a 3 versus 2 by the time the cannon shows up.
Yep, G2 also had Jankos en route on the way to the top side. And G2 now wearing the Baron buff will siege on mid lane. Next wave is going to be a tremendous amount of damage. Bottom side is held by Wonder with his own Baron buff taking down the secondary turret.
And an AP Braum ult is pretty decent damage. Double if dropped about 2/3. Regening up now. This mid turret going to be taking a lot of damage now as well. And Team Liquid unable to defend that one as now the arrow comes in, barely dodged away by Jensen. That could have been a kill picked up as the Shroud was already down. Team Liquid maybe look to re-engage. Rek'Sai is in the bottom lane, but they're going to find a hook from Wonder as well, and TL cannot find any such engage.
So G2 just playing on 2 lanes right now. They've secured both the tier 2s in bot and mid. And a lot of ultimates are still available on both sides. TL, they don't want to take the gamble right now. They're just trying to wave kid, just trying to buy time and wait for that small mistake to come out from G2 that they can then try to capitalize on.
Predator burn for Smithy doesn't do much of anything as the mid lane clear is now the objective for Team Liquid, trying to weather this 90 seconds of Baron buff remaining. Still 3 waves to go on each of these lanes though, and G2 could absolutely, they play their cards right, knock down an inhibitor turret. Gold lead 5,500. They've got more to do.
Look at how quickly Wonder moves between the 2 lanes, going from bot to mid, utilizing the camouflage from his W and the mobility boots helps change the numbers so that G2 always have the threat of a 5-man in the event that TL tried to fight.
Another attempt right now is pretty good damage comes out of Cap, but able to walk away, not getting caught just yet, waiting for what could be an engage out of TL. This turret chunked lower and lower. 2 more cannon shots will knock it down. And right now looking at the bottom side, a nice stun, and Wonder kites away. Now is this the attempt for impact? They find a slow. They find almost the stun, and Yanko's gonna burn the stopwatch. This could be the team fight. In they go as he's still slicing Maelstrom. And it is just that, slicing up Team Liquid. And suddenly it's 1 versus the world, and he cannot stop it. A clean ace, and even as fast as the last one. G2 looking at a sub 30-minute win, and they are a single game away from Europe's first ever MSI trophy. G2, the kings of Europe, about to be the kings of the world.
The early game was so much closer in this second game. Team Liquid were in a very good position. Impact on this cannon was so strong, but in that one single fight where they could have swung it in their favor, unfortunately, they couldn't turn it into a big enough lead.
G2 did a really good job utilizing all of the possible tools they have to pick off members of Team Liquid. Over and over in the mid lane, they burn through summoner spells. They throw out the Sylas ultimate over and over, stealing Ash arrows, getting all these cooldowns, and then they capitalize on it.
They capitalize on it. G2 doing amazing so far. So for more on how G2 brought us to match point, let's check in with Shox, Azael, and Raz in Taipei.
Thank you very much, guys. Indeed, it is now a 2-0 for G2 Esports over Team Liquid. This game did look a bit different, I should say, from the very beginning from Team Liquid. Of course, that game 1 went way too quick in the beginning, and I do think they chose a different approach in this one.
Yeah, right off the bat, Team Liquid goes with a lot of lane priority and specifically moving towards the Olaf, which has been a great contested pick in between. I'm looking towards Jankos and Xmithie here. And then just looking towards the bottom side of the map, they have great ability to kite back from Rek'Sai. So I was certainly concerned with Rek'Sai later on in the game and trying to find any skirmishes.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things I did like in this TL draft, that there was more ability to start fights, right? You know, when you looked at game number 1, it was so much about scaling, so much about sitting back. In this game, they had the ability to start fights with the Ash Arrow. There's more ability to be proactive for Jensen. Impact can start fights with these flanks on Kennen. And at the end of the day, I think they had the tools. G2 was just better at the critical moments.
Yeah, I think that showed as the game went on. However, what I do find positive about Team Liquid is in the early parts of the game, they kind of rolled over and died in game 1. This time around, I feel like they did want to put more emphasis in starting to turn around the fights and not just go quietly into the night, which is a positive. But as you said, unfortunately, G2 just had so many good counters.
And I have to give so much credit, I think, honestly, to Mikyx, forcing out the flash and the summoners from the bottom lane prior to this play, then starts off the dive with a hook on Doublelift, making it very easy. But this counterpunch was critical for TL staying in the game.
A wonderful turn, and for Impact to come through the lane here, had no idea he was coming through. They saw Jensen coming in very quickly, so they thought they can burn him out quickly. Wonderful play to get a double kill on Impact and set the tone for the rest of the game.
Yeah, and you immediately see how this game is going to play out. And I think immediately you also see Impact has the capability to do that time and time again. He is fantastic on that cannon. Akali's getting pretty fed. It looked good. So where did it go wrong for TL?
I think, there were some small moments where they did kind of fall short. We saw, a number of times, not perfect coordination, Wonder actually slinking away with very little HP. I think getting a little bit too excited in some of these fights. Fight around mid lane where we had Wonder and Perks being able to actually slink away and set up a trap for Jensen while the rest of the mid lane was actually, pushing. These small moments and these small plays that G2 was able to make, I think were so critical, and it really speaks to how calmly they're playing. I mean, track Wonder, look at his health. He's running away at about 5% HP. TL are thinking, we're slamming this fight, let's go forward. But the presence of mind to drop the pink ward and set up a trap was beautiful from G2.
Yeah, and just take a look at this. Jensen, who at this point was just going wild, gets caught out. Team Liquid as a whole are, just take a look at the three-man unit at this point, thinking we can't help them at this point. We want to be able to get away, but they notice that the movement speed from G2 side is catching up to them, so there is no way for them to get out of that one cleanly.
No, there wasn't. Unfortunately, this started to spell the demise for Team Liquid in Game 2. After that, G2 really didn't drop a beat anymore, and Caps went off. And you say, yes, the Akali is fed, Jensen's fed, but all Caps does is he just steals whatever Akali can do or anyone else can do on that team, and he also steals, I don't know, I think he deserves it, MasterCard player of the game because of it.
Yeah, so I remember, when we were talking about the composition that Team Liquid has and how strong it was having all the engage points, the Kennen ultimate, the Ashe ultimate, guess who loves that?
Anything you can do, I can do better.
Hell yeah, and the AP coming off of that one too, so perfect play from Caps, who even when they were at a deficit, he was always finding moments to trade back for his team. And when they finally came into the game and had a great advantage for themselves, you saw it in the last team fight at the very end, the Kennen ultimate that just tore Team Liquid apart.
I mean, we've seen, I think, two of the most dominant Sylas games in the entire tournament, both from Caps. Had one earlier group stage. This one here, again, very, very impressive. I do think, though, TL, at times it felt like perhaps they're a little bit shaken. They're feeling like they need to force more than they do. Even in that replay, seeing them try to go for this pick on Caps top lane, you don't have Akali ultimate. Olaf and the Akali there are not going to have enough damage to actually burst down that Sylas before G2 comes through. And G2 is always going to punish you for those mistakes because they are so quick to move around the map and group up as a team.
And the reality here is this was a game where Team Liquid had a good draft.
Yep.
Their draft was perfect. They had a good lead. And G2 once again in this tournament has come back where the lead was out of their reach. It seemed like it was very close for Team Liquid to just move towards Baron. And at this point, G2 are just outclassing them. Not only is Mickey X just dominating just like support to support, and a lot of the plays he's making come doing is Lanterns have just been really clutch in a lot of these moments, but Caps has just been the most consistent force in the tournament. And his Sylas, if we're just talking about best Sylas right now in the world, him and FLICKR immediately come to mind.
Do they pull this back?
At the end of the day, yeah, I mean, I think it's still possible, but you're playing to be best team in the world. You don't get to make these mistakes at this level and expect to win. And so far, G2 has shown us better games, and rightfully so. They're at match point.
They are at match point indeed. G2 having a fantastic time on the Rift so far, and so are the fans here in the arena. Of course, throughout MSI 2019, MasterCard has been highlighting the best fans in esports, and today is no exception. Holly and Jonathan, they're getting married next year, and they decided to come to Taipei for a pre-wedding celebration. As MasterCard fans of the day, they also received Star Guardian mini figurines as well as Teemo hats. They also got a shot to hoist the MSI trophy. They got a fantastic backstage tour, as you can see there. Team Liquid fans, unfortunately, that might not be an early marriage present for them, but we'll see. We'll be right back. We'll take a quick break, and then we'll see if G2 closes it out or if TL can bring us back in this series.
3-on-3 is now Perks is over the wall. This is a fight that G2 might win. Look at Yankos. He's flashless and Jensen is on the board. But now with Perks Core JJ, he will be shut down as well.
This guy. Oh, to red. I got it. I got this one too. Nice.
He very quickly comes
There
back
they
to
go.
the
It's a
game.
flash for the first stun. Plenty of damage towards Impact. Now trying to stay alive with Slicing Maelstrom. But here comes the rest of it. 3v3 now in this fight as the channel comes in. Look for the pull. G2 get kill number 3 and number 4. Doublelift is alone. They find almost the stun, and Yanko's going to burn the stopwatch. This could be the team fight. In they go as he's still slicing Maelstrom. And it is just that. Slicing up Team Liquid.
So Josh, you going for our Drive Safe and Safe discount?
Yep, using the app, driving safe.
You wanna go? You wanna go, bro?
Hey, do not mess with my discount.
Woo!
You can save up to 30%.
Let's go!
Nice to meet you. Go get him, Tiger.
Sounds like you've got this.
Yeah, definitely.
Get a discount up to 30% with Drive Safe and Save from State Farm.
Welcome back to the Mid-Season Invitational Final, where G2 are just one win away from taking the title for Europe. Players ready to go. You see them in their room taking last lessons and opportunities from the coaching staff. Team Liquid doing the same. This must be a reverse sweep for TL to win. Thankfully for them, they've been there before. That was how they won the LCS title and got here in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, for Team Liquid, I feel like that the North American fans are still behind them. They showcased in the second game that they could have a much stronger early game. It was just that single mid-game indecision that resulted in G2 snowballing from that point. And if they just continue to improve throughout the series and they can look to maintain a solid early game in Game 3, then maybe they stand a chance. But we need to see them playing through Jensen. We need to see them better enabling their mid laner and preventing Caps from having so much control around the map.
Yeah, I think we need to see a little bit more of the attack look that we saw from Team Liquid versus IG when they took down the reigning world champions versus even G2 in the last day of group stages. A lot of it was them attacking mid lane opponents. Caps, I'm glad you bring him up. He has been huge for G2, specifically in this matchup versus Team Liquid. But there are also other threats. Mickey, I thought, not only was he good offensively, finding that first blood for G2 on the bottom side, but defensively as well on the Thresh. I mean, this guy has gone through so much this year, working through injuries, coming out onto the international stage and performing so well. It's got to be a good feeling.
I mean, it has to be, because for G2, the whole goal with this roster was to try and get the best player from each position in Europe to make this star-studded European roster. And it was Perks' suggestion that he moves into the bot lane, he brings in Caps, and they perform. They have what is considered to be the strongest roster. And many people doubted, many people were worried in Europe that it wouldn't be able to perform, that it wouldn't be able to compete, but they had an extremely dominant split. They dominated the finals, and now after taking down SKT, they're one game away from securing their first international championship.
They didn't just dominate the regional final, they set a record for fastest best of 5 in EULCS, or now LEC history. They slaughtered Origin 3-0. They're on pace here for the fastest international best of 5 if they can win in under 33 minutes and 10 seconds. This is a record-setting team. They are turning all of the heads. Not only are they smashing compared to European standards, but they're smashing compared to world standards. This, again, be the first European title since 2011.
And remember, this team already at Worlds, before they even picked up Caps last year, were one of the biggest upsets over RNG. Such a huge accomplishment. And then making changes to become even better. Certainly, this is the EU super team.
Yeah, and it only gets more exciting from here. We'll see if Team Liquid can mount the comeback. It is definitely a difficult mountain to climb, but again, you remind people of the finals. When TSM were 2-0 up, it looked over. It looked bleak, yet somehow Team Liquid found that ability to punish. They found those small mistakes, and they clawed their way back into the series.
And for Team Liquid fans, who I know will still stand behind Team Liquid and continue to grow their support, I would even just remind you of the series versus IG. This team looks so good versus Invictus Gaming, not dropping so many of these mistakes, looking for the offensive plays, attacking Rookie. They can definitely still turn it around here. They need to remain poised on stage and use the veterans that they have at their disposal. These players have been in this situation before.
And it's funny because you talk about being in the situation before, some of them in a way almost haven't, where you had Doublelift tell Jensen, I will get you that LCS title, and Jensen told Doublelift, I will get you out of groups, and here they are doing what many thought impossible for North America, not only making it to the finals of MSI yet again, but having a shot at winning it. That hope is still there for these players. They can make the reverse sweep happen. Of course, G2 in the driver's seat. We go back to the blue side like game 1, and they repeat their bans from that game.
Yeah, it looks like things are going to remain the same for the side of G2. Both Galio and Tarek taken off the board. Priority is likely going to be the Jarvan once again. The question is, how will Team Liquid pivot? Will they continue to take the Rakan off the board? Will Silas be the priority? Will Jarvan be taken away? It's difficult now for Team Liquid, and they're just going to have to go up against something or one of these strong options.
Well, it's Akali and Silas off the table, not really willing to trade a jungler for a solo lane pick, and it will be Jarvan taken away. This looks like the exact same draft that I can remember from game 1, with Jarvan off the table, and Smithy must find a jungler he likes. Team Liquid might change up what's in their bottom lane, and it might be more late-game team fighting with that Kai'Sa hover.
Bottom lane has been such a focus for this series so far. G2 have had the advantage back-to-back games down there. So double lift on the Kai'Sa once again. Very comfortable champion for him. And Sejuani for Xmithy will be the front line. Does have the possibility of force hard engages.
Wow, and it looks like G2 immediately going to go for the Zyra Rakan. They actually don't care what they're going up against because with the Galio gone, they're thinking, well, to be honest, you've got nothing that can handle us. Now, there is one option of Team Liquid going for the Morgana right now, or they would likely go for the Brawl. Alistar's actually going to be the priority.
And even a Syndra in the mid lane. I look for counters in other lanes, not just in the lane with Rakan. Something I thought was going to come through last time around is some burst damage to try and take advantage of the weaknesses of Rakan. And sometimes we will see champions like that towards the mid lane actually focus on killing him on the engages, but not so far. If we get the LeBlanc ban, that actually opens up even more possibilities for Team Liquid to get that Syndra.
I actually really like this draft so far from Team Liquid. It feels like a very Team Liquid draft, already catered towards team fighting. A little bit of scaling towards the bot side of the map, but Kai'Sa can typically still provide a lot of value. You have this very solid front line with the Sejuani and the Alistar also acting as an engage, and now they can round their draft out with mages in the mid lane, as you were already talking about, Kobe, and they can save that for the final pick as well. So to me, it feels like Team Liquid in this game 3 are just kind of returning to comfort.
It looks like they're saying, we want to play 33-minute team fights here. They remove a team fight mage from Caps, saying, no, Azir, you can't outscale us in the mid lane. We get first dibs. I want to see if it's Syndra or Lissandra for more engage, or they index even more onto double if being all the damage output. They've already got Alistar and Sejuani as setup. We'll see what comes through. Vladimir also on the table. A lot of premier team fighters that Team Liquid love to play are on the table.
The only concern for Team Liquid is, are they overstacking on AP damage? There is a lot coming through on the side. I mean, you got to remember Kai'Sa, while being an AD carry, can still dish out a lot of it. So the question is, what direction do they go? Blind pick Lissandra with a lot of these options taken off the board. Team Liquid feeling confident in this pick.
Yeah, the Syndra coming in knows it is good against Rakan. Kobe was talking about that one. Now G2 say, you know, Vladimir's really likely on-hit Nico's supposed to be a good matchup into that one.
Ooh.
What is it going to be? Will it be spicy? Yasuo could be very good in the Syndra. Aurelia has been left up as well, and that could be an incredibly decisive champion. First, they take the Nico. They expect the Vladimir, I think, and again, that is a good matchup in the top side.
Yeah, it could be on hit. Could even still be AP. Definitely still flexible here. We'll see what the second pick from G2 is going to be to round it out. Currently, they have a lot of speed for their engage, not a lot of tankiness, so it has to be execution-based.
Interesting that they're hovering the Pyke right now. I expect the Aurelia to come through, yep. I think this will go in the hands of Caps in the mid lane. I'm expecting them to utilize the high mobility and the level 6 all-in potential that Aurelia does provide to not only provide more AD damage to this squad, but also to be one of the main damage dealers moving forward with the comp.
Yeah, no surprise here. A big strategy against Syndra, trying to attack the mid lane champion early and often with roams from your jungler and your support. Jarvan and Rakan will try and assist Aurelia in getting kills onto that Syndra early on in the game.
Well, we know these teams pretty well. Caught a lot of these picks at the end of this draft here. This is what could be the final game of MSI 2019, and if it is, it's G2 winning 3-0 over Team Liquid. It must be a reverse sweep for it to go to North America's side. More team fight. Team Liquid going back and back to the most comfortable style of competition it could possibly be. It is team fight and late game 5-on-5. G2 have Caps on Aurelia, champion he helped make his name on.
The biggest thing that TL have to be cautious of is the early game from the side of G2 Esports. Even though it is harder to play towards the bot side of the map up against an Alistar, do not be surprised, level 4, to see Mickey going back to base, roaming mid, grouping up with Jankos, and then trying to find a kill onto Jensen in the mid lane.
Exactly. I expect a lot of effort to be put towards wards around the river, and the river leading towards mid lane.
One final shot of the trophy. Only one of these teams will get the honor of hoisting it. And odds look pretty heavily that it's going to be G2 Esports from Europe, the 5-time LEC champions. Could be international champions as well. Redeeming themselves from the first few sloppy splits and then a world semifinal, beating RNG, an MSI final beating SKT, and now a chance at the trophy to beat Team Liquid. That is what is ahead of them.
I'm excited to see how things pan out in this game 3. The pressure is on Team Liquid. A lot of hopes rest on their shoulders. Let's see if they can bounce back as we jump onto the Rift.
Exactly. Team Liquid, you mentioned the championships of G2, but this team has had a similar percentage of success with 3 championship splits to their name. Since franchising, Team Liquid has only known success in the North American LCS. And now, in the finals on the international stage, this is their chance to prove that what they were built for was not in vain.
Exactly that, what they were built for. And that's the biggest thing that I'm looking for Team Liquid. We know they have the potential to battle the best. We know that they can upset world champions. Let's see if they can do it today as Rakan, that sneaky level 1 play, he's made it into this brush. Xmithie has no idea.
And you can see Xmithie taking a lot of space away from Jankos, will be knocked up, but is going to follow up CC. A flag is all it's going to land here. It will chunk him a bit low as he keeps taking a couple auto attacks. A flash follow, actually, over the wall from Jarvan, trades those summoner spells.
Another aggressive invade here from G2. This time around, even trade, though, with junglers both burning flashes. Jensen gets a little bit of vision of the enemy team.
And actually the fact that he learned Blooming Burst at all, plus the Keystone choice for Wonder, means it is going to be AP Niku, as you called it out, not the Wits End Ruin King rush for on-hit damage. It will be a lot of magic damage, gigantic teamfight ultimates, and Wonder can definitely counter-engage what TL tries to do.
Also see Doublelift and CoreJJ once again not assisting their jungler, so they should be able to get priority on the lane, and they're already going to start the push off. Very valuable against the Xayah Rakan, and I do often like the Alistar into the Rakan pick, because every time the Rakan tries to go in, he's immediately going to get CC'd, and it's something you always have to show respect against, which means that this duo of Mickey and Perks can't be as aggressive as they would like.
Looking at a stun right now, CoreJJ can find a little bit of damage. Now the FLICKR Dragon's going to find the first knock-up. Ignite is on a Doublelift, and he has to flash away while still level 1. A good start for G2.
Here's me saying they can't look to play aggressively. Well, you know what? You can if your jungler shows up at level 2.
Level 2 Jarvan gank off of red buff here from Jankos is able to get the heal first out of Doublelift, plus still landing the damage of the EQ there, and then also getting flash. That is 2 summoner spells, once again, blown on the bottom side of the map very early on.
Incredible start now. G2 Esports have found a lot of success through Jankos' early ganks. He might be seen coming through. Nice stun right there, comes out of Caps, but will not take that trade as Electric Group pops onto him. Sejuani right behind as well, so that is not a fight to be had. Now top scuttle is the battle. Level 2 on both these sides. They've both taken 2 camps. Xmithie looks to fight now.
Yeah, no smite for Xmithie, while Jankos does have his, so pretty much no chance to get that Scuttle Crab, and Jankos is going to hold on to the smite and just auto it down.
Takes that level 3, leeching some minion XP helps that a lot as well. Xmithie tried to find something useful to do, but sadly will lose both scuttles here. Only taking small camps so far after that red buff. Jensen spotted out, now a re-engage on the bottom side. Doublelift still level 1, unable to dodge that kind of engage.
Mickey and Perks continuing to play on the offensive. Remember that they do have the summoner spell advantage. Doublelift still only level 1, as you talked about, Freakin'. This duo has really struggled throughout this series. So much focus has been put onto trying to shut down the CoreJJ, but now they might finally be able to find something better.
There's a flashless Jarvan, but he has EQ available to dodge out of most of these ganks here, as there is not an engage to be found on the TL side. Just the blue buff attempt stopped as they take what farm they can. You can see the 23-10 in CS down here. Bot lane is getting smashed.
Xmithie draws the blue buff into the brush here so that Jankos doesn't have vision of the health. He's sticking around though, still threatening the TL bottom side.
Ooh, Doublelift has been left by himself. Here they go.
Level 2 looking for the engage, but CoreJJ is around. They're going to find the first knockup. Plenty of damage there. Headbutt buys a bit of space, and a 3-man pull where the first blood still does come through. G2 Esports on the board 3 games in a row first.
And once again, G2 successfully shut down Doublelift. They are making this series impossible for him to play, and now Caps is looking to fight Jensen.
And he's got Ignite. There's plenty of damage output there. The barrier will keep Jensen safe as Caps walks away cleanly after winning trade.
Yeah, both holding onto the summoner spells. Jankos passes over a ward, so even though he comes mid lane, Jensen should know his whereabouts. Xmithie setting up the counter.
All right, trying to bait in for the play. Here comes the first stun. Here comes the engaged barrier pop, flashing away. Will there be a stun? Can there be an answer kill for Team Liquid? Forcing one flash out. Now they need the stun on a Jankos. They're going to find that with all the damage, and Jensen will get on the board.
Good use of information there with the ward that Jankos passes over. Jensen calls Xmithie for the counter play, and Team Liquid gets something out of mid lane, jungler down.
And this is the best situation for Team Liquid to be in after that early deficit down bot. Try and get Jensen ahead. Turn this comfort pick of his into something that can carry the game for Team Liquid.
Attempted engage now on the bottom side. Of course, not a lot of health on Perks. Takes some hits, has to walk away. Doesn't find the pull back for the root, so it's an easy disengage now as Mickey X will not find himself in his own engage. This game right now, only 300 separates. It is reasonably close. We can watch that mid lane gank again.
Yeah, as expected, right over the ward vision there. So then you call like Smithy, and it is going to be a flash bottom side. Double lift is dead.
They found the ignite, they found the kill, and now CoreJJ must run away. There are no cooldowns just yet, but they're trying to chase him down underneath this turret. Has to flash away from that feather. This Lovers duo smashing right now. It's now Wonder, just out of range. Smithy's stun cannot be caught out, will walk away with his flash down.
Smithy doing what he can to try and help his laners on the top side of the map, but there's nothing he can do about the bottom side as Jankos is now looking for revenge against Smithy.
Looking for the play. Impact does have an empower to heal. He's not going to be able to pop it, just barely puts that in, but has to flash with 2 HP left on the health bar, just walking out.
Once again, Jankos is on a rampage throughout Summoner's Rift, top to bottom. Now he's still keeping up the dive onto Smithy.
Walks forward, finds some damage, gonna flash in the smite! It's a couple of seconds bot, though. Impact's gonna stay alive. Now, will there be a repeat heal? Will there be something else as the aftershock comes in, survives the damage? Jankos at 100, puts the flag down, but will not find the follow through. It is still waves lost to the top side. Advantage again to G2.
Exactly, the biggest difference here, Impact does not have teleport, so that is a ton of experience lost. Bottom side, CoreJJ goes in for the engage.
Decent initial engage by Core, but cannot find the auto attack to stun as he didn't have the time to put it down after the rampage came in. So another successful trade, and again, 49-27. G2 are outperforming this game.
So now we get to see what happened to Doublelift. The flash knockup coming through from Mickey when Doublelift still has no summoner spells. The burst from the Lovers duo was too much for Doublelift to handle, and he ends up getting shut down.
Mickey has honestly been insane this series for G2. G2, people expected the bottom lane to be their weakness, but they've turned it into their strength. With attention from Jankos, attention in the early game, Perks and Mickey have been outstanding.
Mickey is also a player that Perks has given so much credit towards. This guy has been one of the most consistent, one of the highly rated players in support position in Europe, and he's brought that knowledge to G2. He's shared that knowledge with Perks. And while Perks might not be the most experienced AD carry, Mickey is definitely an experienced support.
Meanwhile, Team Liquid need to rally around Jensen in the mid lane. The Syndra with the kill, level 7, cooldown on the ultimate coming back up. This is a possible point for them to get kills. Smithy is here.
Find a bit of damage. Cap still not choosing to go forward there. They don't find this opening as that minion walks up. It might reveal his location. Smithy trying to hide away.
They still don't have the cooldown on Syndra's ult back up.
They might try for the attempt right here if you can find the QE. Nice juke by Cap, but will be hit a little bit. Nice double stun comes in. Ult comes in as well. He's got a lot of a FLICKR to play around with. They find that first stun. They find some damage, but Ignite means he will get the solo kill to 1v2. And Caps tries it for Jensen. And here comes Mickey. G2 slaughtering Team Liquid.
Caps with the monumental outplay. 1 versus 2 is able to shut down Jensen and Smithy single-handedly. That right there is the best mid laner in Europe.
Maybe the best mid laner in the world. Looking at these performances now, looking at more, and a double forcing him again to burn both summoners. A second they come back up, Team Liquid cannot buy an advantage. And again in the top lane, Caps is everywhere.
This is an absolute slaughter here. G2 dominating all points of the map.
Jensen, he goes for comfort with the Syndra. Team Liquid try to play through mid lane, but they cannot lock down Caps. The beautiful sidestep to dodge the stun, getting the double stun for himself, and then throwing out the ultimate to get multiple procs of the Q, enable him to get what was a beautiful outplay.
Yeah, Caps absolutely insane here, using the mobility of Aurelia, and they pick up the second kill onto Jensen. That was Team Liquid trying to force before the Syndra ultimate cooldown was there, because they feel so pressured at all points on this map, and they were looking for some area of hope.
And now the gold gap is 3.5k in G2's favor. This is what this roster was built to do. This is what it was designed for, international success. Perks wanted more. And right now, they're only 1 game away from securing it.
Such a move from Perks as the captain of the team to be willing to switch roles to make the team stronger and climb to new heights. Now they are at those heights, and G2 looking to put Europe on top of the map.
It's a choice that all these players made. Caps is probably the hottest commodity in Europe, the best mid laner. He says, I will join G2. I will be the cornerstone of this super team that completes the squad. And from World Finals to MSI Finals to most likely now an MSI trophy, this team is doing exactly what it set out to do, what all the players promised each other.
TL now setting up for a play down towards the bot side of the map. G2 are wary of this because they saw the control ward. They tried to clear it out, but they didn't quite have the damage to secure it. So they're now playing on the back foot. Jankos with this information immediately moves up towards top side and starts setting up to secure this win.
Pressure continues now across that map as it's a 23 CS lead top side for Wunder with only about a gank and a half even to his name. That was enough to just completely push Impact now out of this one as he's got pressure. It's a quick buff steal and now an attempted 4-person dive in Caps. Is his Spidey sense tingling? So far he's just fine and TL cannot find their opening.
Yeah, G2 calling for the missing there from the bottom side. The 4-person mid does not work out. Impact on the top side, fighting for some health as well as some minion kills.
Another fight now in the mid lane. They get plenty of damage to that Jensen, who has to burn both of them. Let's get out of that one. I'm just afraid of what Jankos could have done to him. This is the lane going away, and a re-engage in the mid side. They find a stun, stopwatch popped as well. And will it be any kills for TL? Forced outside of the cage, Caps, he will not go down without a fight. Gets the number 6 kill of the game.
So close for Jensen and Xmithy, but it is just not enough. Caps is playing out of his mind in this game 3. He wants to secure this championship for G2. He wants to secure this MSI title for Europe.
And they still have so much time to mine turret plate money off of all these winning lanes now. They have all the pressure across the whole map. They have the run of the jungle, and they can use that to increase this to a monumental gold lead.
Will TL find the space to answer back? Impact is trying to. He's got to be really careful with this engage. We'll get some damage. Here comes Pop Blossom. A quick heal comes out, and they both stay alive as the flash of the burn. Ult's the same. Impact now with the help lead up top side.
Wunder is consistently applying pressure onto Impact as we now get a replay back onto this mid lane play. So this time around, Xmithy's able to block a lot of the damage going down onto Jensen. Caps' ultimate cannot be converted into much. They go for the engage and a beautiful flash knockup, followed up by a great return ulti from Xmithy, but we have more fighting.
We got to return to the top side right now as one auto attack will do him in as Jankos is on the board with his first. Caps yet again, Wits and done 3-0 and 2. G2 are unstoppable.
With both of the mid laners down, G2 can now take these turrets. They're actually taking everything. The red buff here.
Well, there's a cow in the way trying to stop Mop. It will be a red buff picked up for Xmithy as G2 walks away, but this top lane is in shambles. The turret is falling.
Plate after plate is being picked up. 6K is now the goal lead for G2. They are just snowballing out of control. It feels like that every member is playing at their peak right now, and they are not giving Team Liquid a single chance to come back.
33 minutes and 10 seconds. Anything under that sets a world record for international best of 5. They've already taken down FLICKR and SKT, setting a record on the way to the first European title since 2011. Is a great way to cement G2 in history.
Well, the Rift Herald's gonna help them along with that, Freak. Charge gets off on the secondary turret here, and this might go down.
Taking a lot of damage. The Herald will fall. Finally, a fight that that TL can win. Jankos drops, but Caps is under the turret, and he gets away with it too. Finally stunned, a bit more damage in, but he's still not dead. He's still healing. They might have the damage, and finally TL dies. He actually dies. The man is mortal. He can bleed, but so can TL's base. It's already 4 turrets in 14 minutes.
So much gold just got picked up for G2 there, and while Team Liquid finally get the kill onto Caps, what did it cost them, guys?
Everything.
It's only a moral victory there as they are finally able to get him, but G2 run the map, they run Summoner's Rift, and they are running this series home.
So many fans say that when Caps plays, the gods flip a coin. Today, it feels like that it is a double-sided heads because this man has been on a tear throughout this series.
Claps on both sides right now, happy to step up and completely outperform his opposite member. Beautiful step out of Cap so far. Jankos, Wunder, the whole lineup is amazing. We can watch that tower dive yet again.
All right, so they try and go for Jensen again, missing both the knock-up and the double stun. Causes the counter there from Team Liquid. Jensen gets the first kill, ulting onto Jankos, but Caps goes under the turret on Aurelia, making use of the mobility. Then Xmithy lands the Sejuani stun off of the passive into the ultimate burst damage, and since Core JJ is there on the Alistar, they are able to finally put him down.
If he had flashed a little bit earlier there to avoid that final order from Sejuani, he may have actually been able to turn that one around with the Wit's End heal that was coming out as well, but instead he takes the death and now he's looking for double lift. The flash will end up being used, and G2 now forced to play on the defense.
Teleport coming in. They also have a roam from Mickey in the river.
Moving to the play right now. Wonder puts in the pop. Blossom gets a shield, finds a single stun. In comes Mickey. Will it be a single kill? Yes, Impact is on the board. And can they get a little more? This is the comeback TL needs, but it is a single kill, and it's cut short from there.
And the split push from G2. They still have perks on the bottom side at the inhibitor turret.
He'll take a fancy recall. He's not even afraid of anyone showing up onto him. A stun for Caps. They'll keep that turret alive. TL getting maybe the worst of this trade as part of the base is falling away. The reset does come in. Now a potential re-engage.
They really gonna try this?
3v5 teleport.
Yep, there's no TP for Wonders. That would make it really difficult. And instead, they just spot them. They slow down some of the recalls. They look for a stun. Not gotta find that yet either. But they're all still in spitting distance. Ult is up for Xmithy. This could be a 5v3. It's a fight that Team Liquid might like to take. You have Core JJ in a brush with a control ward, but a flag reveals him. When's the move forward? Not yet gonna happen. No stun for the Syndra. And the fact that G2 pushed TL back in a 3v5 is evidence enough of how dominant this European squad is.
Level 12 Aurelia. The ultimates are up and available. Only Mickey's is on cooldown, and the duo of Perks and Wonder were making their way up towards the top side. TL chose not to take that fight. They're forced to disengage, and now G2 grouping up to secure the final Tier 2 tower.
Let's knock that one down. Team Liquid are going to be able to watch this one fall. They do put some members around. It is a 3 versus 4. Now it's 4 with their teammates, and Yanko's coming up. They will clear the wave. They will back up, but there's going to be an engage. Oh, that was just a clone. They find the slow. Over the wall they go, looking for Jensen. Plenty of damage there, but he's going to be fine walking away. Look for the stun. Henning predicts the flash. Actually a good stun there, but no kills to be had. Instead, the base is being sieged. They're being taken down right now. G2 unwilling to be stopped. The turret still in their eyes. Feathers fly. And G2 will pull back. That's a big stun. That's a big engage. Oh my gosh, look at the fight. They look for kill number 4. This might be an ace inside of the base. Inside of 18 minutes, the mid inhibitor will surely fall.
And G2 rip through the hearts of Team Liquid and North American fans as they secure themselves in the top of the world.
There is no chance TL comes back from this. They're already on to the Nexus turrets. This is what peak League of Legends looks like, and it comes from Europe. A world record. G2 Esports 3-0 will win MSI 2019. The first MSI trophy for Europe. G2 Esports. They wait for the rest of the squad. And they wait for everyone to lift it together. G2 Esports, the best team in the world. Your MSI 2019 champions. Europe is now top dog in League of Legends.
What a monumental achievement for G2 Esports. such a huge victory. They fought hard. They had to fight their way through SKT. They had to fight through Team Liquid, and they did it in such convincing fashion. Perkz there, the man that this team was built around. Such a monumental achievement for the squad.
And every player gets their own turn, doing what hasn't been done for Europe in 8 years. A title, a major international title for Europe, for the LEC, and it belongs to G2 Esports.
The last 2 years, certainly proof times are changing. A finals at Worlds 2018 for Europe, and now a victory, taking home the MSI Championship.
The best of the best was in attendance, and the best of them was G2. When Rookie One World said, you know, it would mean more if FLICKR was there. Well, FLICKR was here, and G2 went right through him. 2-0 in the group stage, a best-of-5 victory in the knockouts. You cannot question what they have done here.
And a big shout out as well to Promiscu, the hidden hero behind the team, supporting G2 with Mickey's wrist
再
injuries.
次用最热情的掌声，恭喜 G2 Esports 获得了2019季中邀请赛的冠军。接下来，让我们邀请 Riot Games 电竞业务总监 Valen 先生，以及 Riot Games 大中华及东南亚地区负责人叶强生先生，以及 S2 全球总冠军 TPA 的成员 Stanley、Leopold、Toys、Bibi 以及 Mustang 来为我们的冠军团队颁奖，有请。哇，好开心！再一次看到我们的 TPA 成员们聚首。
Incredible performances once again from G2. Medals on their necks, a trophy hoisted in front of the crowd in Taipei.
And my question now is, how far can this team go? They've shown absolute dominance in Europe, in their own region, and now absolute dominance on the biggest stage, the finals
再次
here.
把热情的掌声献给 G2 以及为我们担任颁奖嘉宾的 TPA 以及 Valen 先生，还有叶先生，谢谢他们，谢谢。
As a European, you can't but help feel a sense of pride. Last year, we came so close with 2 teams in the semifinals,
Hi guys, please come
with a
closer.
single team
Thank
at the
you.
final. We thought that that would be
好
the
的，接
year.
下来呢，马上就要
No
进
one
入我们一
expected
个
this roster
赛
to come
后
out,
采
and
访
no one
的环
expected
节
this
了
level of。
那
success.
稍后呢，会由余双
Let's listen in. We have an
来
interview
来
now
到我们的
with
舞台上，要
the
来
winning
进
players
行
of
这
G2
一段的
Esports.
一个采访。
Well, commanding 3-0. Once again, Europe are top dogs in League of Legends. A world semifinal just last year, beating the MSI champions in RNG. And then this time around, defeating the greatest team of all time in FLICKR's SK Telecom T1 into a world record setting, not only for an international best of 5, a finals best of 5. 3-0 over North America's Team Liquid. Doublelift did get out of groups, They did defeat IG. A lot of North American fans can be happy over what Team Liquid accomplished and look forward to them at Worlds. But this tournament belongs to Europe. This tournament belongs to the LEC, and it belongs to G2 Esports, the greatest team in the year.
You now have to question, how does Worlds look this year? You know, coming into the group stages, Europe and North American teams are not free wins anymore. They're not the teams that the East hopes to get in their groups. These are upsetters. These guys have been able to successfully close the gap.
好的，欢迎来
And
到
here
我
we
们
go,
的
one
赛
more
后采
time,
访
an
的
interview now with G2 Esports, your MSI
能够获
champions.
得本次的 MSI 的冠军。Congratulations on winning the first MSI trophy for G2 and for Europe. Congratulations. 首先，我们要请问的是我身边的 Perks。那今天呢，他在拿下了这一次 MSI 的冠军之后，他作为一个新人的 ADC 选手，他怎么看待自己作为 ADC 在全球的排名呢 ？After this MSI and winning this trophy home, where do you see yourself as rookie AD carry?
Well, I'm the best.
他说我是最强的，我想成为最强。OK, congratulations, improve yourself. 接下来下一个问题呢，要问是Perks。其实今天他们也是在赛前的采访当中 ，Perks 有说到，他不仅仅想要成为冠军，同时他想要成为传奇。那他想要被怎么样的去成为一个铭记的选手呢？Second question goes to Cavs. As you mentioned in the previous interview, you say that you not only want to be the champion, but also the legend. So what kind of player you'd like to be known or to be remembered as?
I mean, obviously, I want to win as much as possible. Right from day one when I joined EU, it was not really looking good that good internationally. But I hope that I and my team could become good enough that we could compete internationally, and I just want to win as many trophies as we can.
我想要为 EU 赢得更多的奖项。可能在我加入 EU 赛区的时候，我们的赛区并没有那么的强，但是我希望我和我的队友会通过我们的努力，为我们的赛区争取更多的荣耀。那下一个问题要问一问 Yankos。So the third question goes to Yankos, and I have to ask, what does it mean to you to be able to be part of the G2 legacy and now winning the second major title for Europe?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it just feels pretty good to be able to leave the trophy on international stage. This year is my first time that I won the split in Europe, and I also won a trophy on international stage. So I'm really happy, you know, to be in this team, be a part of this team, and just enjoy it.
我刚刚问他的问题呢，是他觉得这一次对于他们来说意义是如何的，能够将这一个 MSI 的奖杯、世界赛的奖杯能够赢取回家，而且这也是他们的第2个 EU 的。可能说在国际赛场上的主要的这一些冠军的奖杯，他说他非常荣幸能够代表 EU 在国际赛场上拿到这样的一个奖杯，而且也会继续的去努力。那接下来问一问我们的上单选手 Wonder 选手 ，Wonder 选手在整个 MSI 的表现当中，大家也看到了，他拿出了非常多新奇的选择，同时也拿出了很多上单的一些英雄，而且大家对于他的上单派克应该是印象非常的深刻，所以他是怎么样去准备这么多新奇的一些选择的呢 ？Okay, next question goes to Wonder. We can see that you're considered one of the best top laner in the world, especially like your large or huge champion Ocean. And we can see your top hike is so impressive. So how did you prepare such kind of spicy picks for MSI?
I think it just comes down to like my team being really creative, and we kind of support each other. So if someone has an idea, we are all like on board with it at this like almost instantly, whereas on other teams maybe they would be a bit more skeptical. But on this team, we are free to do like whatever we want when it comes to our champion pool, and I think that's like a big reason that we succeed as much as we do with like the pocket picks we have.
其实我觉得我们的整个队伍对我来说都是非常的支持的，而且我觉得我们的这一些是可能说
队伍当中的一些支持，以及他们的一些创意，对于我来说都是非常好的。而且我们的所有的人都会为我们的这一些，可能有人如果有一个新的提议或者新的意见的话，所有人都会支持他，并且付诸于实践去实验。那同时我们在后来能够有这样的一个成绩，可能是因为我有一个比较强大的一个英雄池，能够足以支撑我们有这么多的 pocket picks， 或者说是这一些可能可供选择的英雄。好，那接下来下一个问题要问到的是 Mickey。Mickey， 我想问的是，因为今天他们能够拿到这样的一个冠军，对于他来说，他的脑海当中，在最后一局比赛的时候，他的脑海里想到的最多的是什么？Next question goes to Mickey. So what's like the point of focus at the last moment in the last game?
Well, in the last game, we were just kind of expecting them to pull out something weird, but they kind of went with some standard stuff that they usually play, so we're really confident, even from draft, that we're going to win. So, yeah, and then everything went according to plan in early game as well, so it was just kind of smooth sailing.
其实我们可能也期待对方会拿出一些比较新奇的选择，但是可能后面他们拿出来是比较正常的一些英雄。那同时呢，我们也是能够有能力去打败他们，而且我们在前期，我们的游戏前期做的也是非常棒的。那最后一个问题要问到的是我们的教练，我们的教练是Grabs. So the question goes to Grabs. Where is all this pick and ban ideas came from in this international tournament? You guys are so creative and intelligent. 我们可以看到 G2 所有的人都是非常非常的有创意的。那我们想知道，教练你们的这一些 BP 的创意都是来自于哪里呢？
I don't have an earpiece, so I was kind of understand.
Okay, so where is all this kind of pick and bans came from in this tournament? Because you're so creative and intelligent.
Oh, yeah. As one always said, the team is very creative in itself. That means they constantly come every day with a pick. Oh, this could work, this could work. Usually it's like really troll, but like a top, for example, works really well. So just a daily work of sitting through what can actually work. And it's a blessing playing with them, so it's really easy for me in draft.
其实我们在日常生活当中呢，就会准备很多这样的新奇的 BP， 或者去尝试这一些选择。所以说，在世界赛、在 MSI 上能够拿出这一些选择来说，对于我们来说是非常非常简单的。好了，那我们接下来呢，在采访完之后，我们接下来要公布的是本次 MSI 的 MVP， 也就是我们总决赛的 MVP 的奖项。这个奖项的获得者将是来自13个赛区的专家和媒体人共同投票，可以说是众望所归。他就是 G2 战队的 Caps 选手 ，Congratulations Caps！ 好了，那接下来呢，我们也是想要有请 Caps 往前一步。好，我们其实可以看到 Caps 选手在我们本次的 MSI 的。好，非常感谢文文先生为 Caps 选手颁发的 MVP 的奖杯 ，Thank you，Thank you。好，那接下来呢，我们也要想问一问 Caps。其实可以看到人群当中最开心的莫过于是 Caps 的爸爸，他在人群当中一直在为 Caps 加油和助威。我想这样的一个非常有意义的时刻，想问一问 Caps 对于他的父亲有什么想说的 ？We can see that like your dad is cheering for you all time along in all kinds of international tournaments. So at this special moment, anything you would like to say to your father?
I want to thank my dad for always coming. It feels good to finally bring back a trophy. Too many times I've come back from international tournaments or just from EU with a loss, and my dad and my family have to support me and they have to get me through this. But this time we have to celebrate. Thank you.
我非常感谢我的父亲。其实这一次我终于能够把这样的一个荣誉和奖项赢回家。在很多次我们可能在 EU 的赛区或者说是在世界舞台上，我可能没有能够拿到这样的一个奖杯回家的时候，我的家人、我的父亲都一如既往的在支持我，在能够为我鼓励。但是这一次我终于能够把这样的一个奖杯赢回家，我们可以一起庆祝这一个开心的时刻。Congratulations and thank you, and also thank you, Caps Dad, thank you. 好了，那我相信很多人对于今天 G2 的表现应该都会非常的好奇，因为 G2 在整个世界赛上可以说是颠覆了我们所有的认知，或者说是对于我们英雄联盟的一些解读。那他是怎么样看待这样的一件事情的呢 ？Okay, the next question I would like to ask Caps. So G2 is always trying new things and also put out all kinds of spicy picks. So do you think G2 has changed the understanding of League of Legends or understanding of this meta?
So, I mean, I definitely think that a lot of people will take a lot of things from this tournament. I think since Worlds, teams started pulling out a lot more things and people started playing a lot more aggressive. But from this MSI especially, I think people will go back to a lot more of their own comfort picks, try out the champions they're good at, and just go with it.
可能在世界赛上呢，很多人都会去选一些比较激进的，或者说是比较偏打团的这些英雄。但是我觉得在这一次 MSI 上面，更多的战队或者说是我们更多的会去选择能够让我们比较舒服的这一些英雄的选择，能够让我们打出自己打法的这些选择。我觉得这就是我们这次 MSI 的一些表现。那接下来想问一问 Caps， 其实呢我们可以看到，在这一次获得 MSI 的冠军之后，我们可能更加期待看到 G2 在之后会有怎么样的表现呢 ？Caps。After this MSI trophy, what can we expect from G2? Maybe the Rift Rival or the Worlds?
So we're gonna try our best. I think something we have a lot to improve on. We came into the tournament wanting to get our revenge against IG, and we left with a 0-2 record against them. So I think IG is the team we're looking to get a revenge against Worlds. And if we beat them, then I'm sure we can beat anyone.
Wow! 其实我们在这次世界赛当中，可能跟 IG 交手的时候，我们的战绩不是非常的好，我们被他们就是连拿2分。但是我觉得，如果我们能够打败了 IG 的话，我觉得我们可以打败所有的人，而且他们也是非常强的一支战队。我们也期待在世界赛上能够有更加强的表现。OK，Thank you, Caps，Thank you。
好的，那我们再一次恭喜 G2 战队获得了2019英雄联盟季中邀请赛的总冠军，掌声谢谢他们！各位召唤师，我们下季赛再见喽，拜拜！
Welcome to MSI Cooldown after G2's 3-0 sweep in the final, the fastest international best-of-5 ever. I'm Dracos, joined by Vedius and FLICKR. We're going to hear more from Caps and Perks in a few minutes, but for now, G2, I'm trying to, you guys aren't bringing as much energy as
No.
You guys were supposed to be, I thought you guys were going to be crazy and you're going to bring me up. I was trying to figure out the appropriate way to celebrate in this moment, because I'm in shock, I'll be honest. I'm still a little bit in shock.
Good guys, G2, they saw that Fnatic currently held the record for fastest loss in an international series, and G2 are like, Fnatic, we got you. Not only will we bring home the trophy to Europe, we'll also scrub your name from the record books and just pencil in Team Liquid.
I mean, it's strange, right? Because after what were such close and crazy semifinals, I think expectations were that this would be a back and forth, a contrast of styles, the peak of each respective region finally battling it out, and it ended up just being a very one-sided affair. And I think that I wasn't expecting that. Even yesterday on Cooldown, I predicted 3-1. I thought that while G2 were the stronger team, I was expecting Team Liquids to showcase a lot of their strength, but I don't think they had an opportunity to, because G2 just they suffocated them. And you can't take anything away from Team Liquid, because it was just, there was a clear gap between Team Liquid and G2 that was kind of demonstrated.
And look,
today.
you can say that you expected more, but as an EU fan, which I can shamelessly say now that the tournament is over, I personally enjoyed watching what I think we can safely call absolute destruction. Let's take a look back at that series, and it was Mickey X, I feel like, giving an all-star performance.
Yeah, Caps came away with the MVP. Mickey X was definitely my honorable shout-out here. Most of these plays and most of these snowballs started at level 1s that Mickey on his Recon was able to set up, and then immediately the win condition was gank it repeatedly. And we saw 2 different metas over the course of this tournament. In the TL-IG series, it was all about the late game team fighting. It always came down to a 5v5. But in SKT versus G2, it was all about the snowball. Whoever got into that turn first ran away with the game, and that's what we saw here. Just, was it going to be team fight? Was it going to be snowball? In the end, it was a massive snowball and one of the fastest international series we've ever seen.
And in Game 3, we really got to see Caps pop off. Many people questioned at the beginning of the year, is this trade smart for G2? Does it make sense to take Perks, one of the best mid laners in the world, move him into an AD carry position, and replace him for Caps, arguably one of the greatest mid laners in the world, and today he demonstrated why it was worth.
Yeah, and I do want to give a shout out to Perks as well. You know, coming into this series, I had a lot of questions about Perks. I thought Core JJ and Double were definitely going to be the stronger 2v2 down there. Perks and Mickey were taking very aggressive trades. Perks came to play today. He absolutely slammed in that bottom lane, looked great.
And to be fair, coming out of group stage, I think those fears were absolutely justified. We saw the Ezreal Tom Kench game, things were falling apart in the G2 bottom lane, and that was the #1 place where you would have pointed out weaknesses. But today, in this series especially, it was both Mickey and Perkz playing at an insanely high level. So many close exchanges where people are walking away with blinking health bars, but they are still always able to come out on top in the kill trades.
I legitimately think this is what, like, peak G2 looks like, right? And I don't know if they can get better than this. But like, if they can, that's even more terrifying. But yesterday against SKT, it felt like that both teams had like high and low moments, right? Whereas this, it felt like every single member was playing at the best that they possibly could. And like, we haven't even talked about Wonder, right? Like, and think about that, right? Wonder, arguably one of the best, I mean, Shai praised him as the second best top laner in the world, right? He was not really a conversation in this series, yet he had so much impact, like, on the sidelines. Like, it was all about Mickey's engages, Yankees' setups. Like, the whole team just came to play today. They really wanted that title.
And something I love that we heard from Caps is that they still want IG, that they're not content with just an MSI. The MSI's title is massive. I think it's huge for LEC, it's huge for Europe, it means so much. But Caps is such a competitor that he's looking at the next thing already. He's like, the next trophy, getting better. He's not even taking a second to stop and say, hey, we did great, this is awesome, we're gonna relax for a little while. He said, yeah, I'll get some time with my family, but also, when it comes to my career, I just wanna take it to the next level. How can we be better? How can I be better?
And the irony of this is that when Rookie won his world championship, he said, it doesn't mean as much because I didn't go through FLICKR. Caps now says, it doesn't mean as much because I didn't go through Rookie. The man that has been Caps' kryptonite for God knows how long. And he beat FLICKR. He and G2 took down SKT, and they sat there and said, this still isn't enough. Until we overcome our demons, it's not enough. And like, it only sets up for a perfect storyline at Worlds.
This is like a rock, paper, scissors, Pokemon triangle right here. Caps beats FLICKR, FLICKR beats Rookie, Rookie beats Caps. Like, has to get resolved at some point.
But who gets to be Charmander? That's the real question.
Shout out to LS with the Pokemon references. Of course, looking across, though, I think this is fantastic. As you mentioned, one of the most dominant series we've ever seen. And for G2 as a whole, I think now coming back into LEC with this much on their shoulder, it feels like they might just be unstoppable until we move into Rift Rivals.
I'm going to say it now. First few weeks, G2's going to lose. They're going to be tired. They're going to drop some games.
They want to take a break. They don't want to be scrimming as hard.
I'm not going to hold that against them. They've just won an MSI. If they drop a couple games at the beginning of the split, I will not be surprised.
But of course, wait, broadcast it'll be MSI champions. Yeah. How can you take down G2? And as soon as someone takes them down, amazing!
But what this now is, this will only make our region hungrier. It will only make it more competitive because now there's a benchmark for the European teams to work towards, and everyone is going to be eyeing G2 to try and upset them going into the next LEC split.
I also think it's extension to all of the West, and it should be to all of the teams. We talked about kind of that mental blocker, it feels like should be removed now that you've gone through both Invictus Gaming and SKT for both TL and G2, but it's this idea that you know, we know that we can win now playing our style, so this should be a wake-up call to everyone. You can do it. You are not predetermined to always be in 4th or 3rd place.
And I like it especially, those final words from Caps, where he's like, hey, play your own style, do exactly what you want to do. I think no surprise to see him be the MasterCard Finals MVP. 17 out of 22 first-place votes as we re-look at it. Just an incredible performance from him, an incredible performance for G2 as a whole, but of course, a fantastic tournament for Caps as well, outside of 1 or 2 hiccups.
I had the opportunity to say it in the cast, best European mid laner, and I think he showcased it today. He had a phenomenal Aurelia performance, and Caps is just a joy to watch, and he's such a joy personality as well. He's always smiling, he's always so happy, and how can you not love his dad?
When do we get to have Caps in the conversation of best European player of all time? Because I know right now that's mostly dominated by like the likes of Soaz and Reckless, because there are so many European greats. But, you know, the fact that we finally have this guy taking home an international title at MSI.
I think the conversation for best Western player already started when we looked at how good this guy was. Not like most historic. He does not have the greatest number of achievements, but in terms of individual best, the conversation started, and now I feel like he's probably, at least right now,
do you know what all that matters? EU mids, man. EU mids.
EU mids. Well, to get some more insight from the players, as Shox is ready with Caps and Perkz, let's send it over.
Thank you very much, Perks and Caps. Indeed, they even brought the trophies, I should say, the MSI trophy and the MVP trophy. Congratulations also from my side for you guys. I know you guys already talked a lot on the stage, but now that everything's kind of sunk in, maybe Caps, you first. Of course, you don't only win your first international title, also the MVP title. Now that it's sunk in for a minute, how do you feel about everything?
So as I said on stage, I still want to beat IG. But at the same time, obviously we're celebrating now. Probably gonna celebrate for a few weeks, and then LEC starts, and then we have to go on again. But I think we're just celebrating and happy.
I love how you look at Perks, and you're just trying to get like something out of him. Perks, tell me about what it all means for you. And just to summarize, you've been fighting for this for so long internationally. Plus, you made the move to AD carry only this year. That must be phenomenal.
Yeah, well. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of crazy, honestly. I don't know what to say. I'm just super grateful because last year I was even in a tougher spot, like mentally, individually. So I wasn't really sure how to deal with it after like the success we had, and then we didn't have success at all. So I think I learned a lot from that year, and I'm just super grateful for my org and all the players we have that we actually managed to like get this far so short time. And it's actually really crazy because I haven't even played with Mickey for like 3 months almost, and we actually won MSI. Like, what is even going on? You know, like, it's a lot of thoughts, but yeah, I'm just super grateful.
Yeah, is it hard to realize because you've both been fighting for it so hard, you so long? You of course had the heartbreak of Worlds just a couple of months ago, Caps. Does that make you appreciate this even more?
I mean, for sure it does, right? We didn't really know what to expect going into this lineup. We knew that we would need some time, or that's what I thought. But it turns out that we were just like kind of good from day one. We clicked very fast together, and we never really had problems. So it's hard to like say, like it's not something you can predict, right? But everything ended up going good for us, and now we're here.
Yeah, tell me about today, because of course at the end of the group stage, it was a bit up and down. You know, you guys lost those 3 games in a row, but then you ended up beating SKT, and then today you looked like a different team. You know, how come? Were you just feeling incredibly in the zone and poised for that trophy?
Well, I don't know. Like, I feel like we are the team that actually plays really well under pressure, but I also feel like we play really poorly in some games that don't matter but kind of do matter anyways, and that's just because of, I don't know, our mindset or the way we approach the game, and that's something that kind of needs to be fixed for future, because yeah, we want to be the team that wants to dominate all the time, not be like, we don't want to have bad games as well. So yeah, I feel like today everything has been so on point, from preparation to draft in execution in game, and the communication was really clean as of compared to like our yesterday series even. Yesterday series was fine, but we were like a bit lost, I feel like, and we were like doing a lot of stuff that we shouldn't be doing. And yeah, of course, way better than the last 3 games of group stage, right? So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Today I think we played so good, so I'm really happy for it.
I also think we had a team that's like really good at preparing, and it's hard to prepare in an MSI for every game because you play so many games back and forth, and it's just kind of like random when you go into the games. But when it's like one team you play, then it's easier to prepare for. And the same kind of thing maybe goes for when it's like we're locked first and maybe we don't have as much preparation, and then we seem a lot worse, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Caps, you won the MVP here today. Is there anyone you
MVP.
both want to shout out in terms of in your team or in your bigger team or in the fandom as you went through this MSI challenge, who really stepped up for you guys?
I mean, I think.
Is there anyone you want to shout out? I'm sorry, that was a bit confusing.
I was gonna shout out to Caps.
Okay.
I think he's doing an insane job, and yeah, he's just playing really well. A lot of games, not every game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he deserves everything he gets. So.
Thank you. I mean, now I want to give a shout out to you as well, right? You reroll to 80, and already we are winning at MSI. So, and it's even like a bot meta, right? So it's pretty crazy. But at the same time, I feel like everyone on our team did so well. I think to just give a shout out right now, I kind of want to give a shout out to Promiscu, just because I'm sure everyone else will get like a lot of credit. But going into MSI, we were scrimming with Promiscu, and we were playing a lot with Promiscu because of Miki's hand. And obviously no one will ever know, but I still think he's really really good.
And just to add up, like me and Promiscue were winning 90% of lanes in our games. Just saying, this guy is really good, and it was fun playing with him.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Because I feel like you can just give a shout out to everyone, because then you see Miki, who barely practiced and is still popping off, and Jankos, who, I mean, you know, he's smurfing every game, and same with Wonder, pulling out the pike and stuff. So I think everyone is doing really well. I think that's what you need if you want to actually win MSI. So that's pretty good for everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, also coaching staff.
Coaching staff.
Yeah, the coaching staff.
I mean, your owner maybe also
Yes.
watching. Please, just give him a shout out. Come on. No.
Okay.
I tried, Carlos.
Go to G2 shop.
G2esports.com/shop for this wonderful jerseys that there is right there.
Made him
Carlos
happy.
will love them. So yeah.
He did. Oh, we got that out of the way. I just finally want to look forward. Then I know you already said, you know, we didn't go through IG, so this or that. But can you just kind of put into words what this not only means for G2 Esports, but for the whole region of Europe? You've made them so proud, and this is something that a lot of people had not even dreamed of happening. What does that mean for the future for Europe and for G2?
I mean, I think that's when I was like going up to be a pro gamer. I really want to win worlds, but I was talking with a lot of people, and for a lot of people, that was not the goal, because people didn't even think worlds as a thing you can win. People thought that it's just going to be the Koreans who will win that, and you can compete to win EU, and that's like the best thing you can have, right? But that's why. But now that we won MSI, I'm sure that a lot of people, new players, rookies who is out there, they get a lot more motivated because they know they can be the best. They can't just be the best in the EU and the West.
It's actually pretty funny because like 2 years ago, when I was playing on the 2017 G2 lineup, we had kind of high goals, but I feel like it was only me and Sven who actually believed that we could win worlds, and everyone else on the team didn't really feel like they believed in that. They thought we were good, but especially like I remember Mitty told me something like, he told me I will go to NA because we're probably never gonna win worlds or something, right, or something like that. And then I was like, yeah, and now here I am standing here, and shout out to Mitty because he talks to me a lot, and we talk, and we are shout out to everyone else from that lineup as well. They all wrote to me yesterday, wish me good luck. So yeah, here I am winning a championship, I guess.
Oh, wow. Fantastic that they give you some words of motivation as well. Thank you very much. I'm sure you have a million interviews to go to. You're not going to be out of here for a long time. Thank you. Congratulations. Caps and perks. G2 Esports, one MSI, changing the narrative, one tournament at a time. Back over to you guys.
Thank you.
Absolutely love so many things about that interview. Favorite part was the shades shown at Ocelot. Congrats, Ocelot. You want to champion your players, still aren't afraid to knock you down.
But I think they still made him proud by promoting
by shop, whatever. I won't do it here. You
but
want a jersey, go get a jersey.
Interview. How can you not, like, from, I mean, it's a storyline we've talked a lot about, from villains to heroes, right? Where G2 were the disappointment of Europe. They were the team that let us down.
They were the vacation team.
Right? There was 2016, MSI, like, it was this spot 3 years ago where G2 and 8, the meme, started, right? And then they went to Worlds twice, failed to get out of groups. The second time, they lost to Albus Nox Luna. Like, G2, as an organization, from an EU fan's perspective, was never anything that you could put your faith in, because they would always disappoint you, right? And then after the year of failure last year, where they couldn't win any splits, they couldn't find any success, they make it to the semifinals by taking down RNG, and they begin the journey to winning their first MSI title. And the amount of turnaround, the amount of effort these players, this org, and this team has had to put in order to turn that narrative around has been so massive, and I'm happy to finally see it.
To be fair, they're not entirely above the bad boy image, though, because Wonder did tweet before the series, ready for the fastest international best of 5 ever played. So while Europe might love them right now, I don't think they're making any friends out there in the rest of the world. I think it's safe to say.
I don't know about you guys, but since I've been in Europe, this has been great.
We have a theory that you might be the secret to our success, because you left LPO 1 and then you left, and now
I'll take it. It's fine.
Frost is in LEC now. Don't try to take her. The MSI 2019 might be over, but of course there's tons of action coming up in the regional leagues. Team Liquid will return to the LCS the 1st of June, with G2 starting their run for another trophy the week after. In addition to this, the next week 8 teams will be gathering in the LCS Battle Arena to fight for the college championships as UCI look to defend their title from last year. And good news, North American fans, a North American team has to win that one.
Oh, that's rude. I was just about to say,
is rude.
the gap is behind you. I am tired of hearing about that conversation. I'm going to say it. It is dead. Yeah, you can say whatever you want about that TL-IG series or this TL versus G2 series, but the fact of the matter was Europe and North America made it for a finals. Worlds is wide open.
Yeah. No longer will NA and EU in a groups be seen as a free win. Like this is going to be a completely different world championship. It's going to be very exciting.
And I look forward now to watching LCK and going, oh my God, what is this fiesta? This is an LEC level. I'm joking. I love you guys, LCK fans. So for myself, the casters, and the entire live broadcast crew, don't blame me. Thank you for watching MSI 2019, and we'll see you for the return of regional leagues. Goodbye.
EU is the best.
Woo! Woo!
13 teams from around the world compete in the 2019 Mid-Season Invitational. First up is the play-in stage.
Double distortion gets the Featherstorm out, flashes away from it, pallet falls. Meliodas is there trying to clean up, but Ryoma, not the one underneath the tower, he's the other one as Meliodas chopped down. He's stunned up, he's done, he's unstoppable, it's Saya. This is Isurus Gaming just cleaning up the fight in the base. There's nothing Fenerbahce can do.
What an ult there from Jun. Now needs to get ripped around down, but a good ult there from Chinny. Make sure the carry goes down. Everyone's in the pit. It's an absolutely massive scramble, and G4 finds a massive ulti as Mega finally find the ace.
But Heavy instantly onto the 80 carry. Tay in the middle of the rest of the team. He's going to get taken out.
And he's going to grab the double. This could be the Panther here. No, Valkos able to grab the third one. Good decisions there made all game long there for Fenerbahce. Nomads unstoppable, just finding pick after pick after pick. Vegas Squadron will fly undefeated towards the knockout stage.
PBB take down Fenerbahce and will move on to the bracket stage.
Team Liquid and MSI mainstays / rules qualified for the group stage.
No nonsense this time around. Game 5, everything on the line for the last MSI qualifier slot. And Meliodas finds 2. He looks to knock them back into stasis. There's the neck down, and another 6 will fall after the hero's entrance. Boss will be forfeit as well, and PvP might not need the Baron to end this game. Fongbu Buffalo fought so hard to get here, but they will take the final spot in MSI groups.
What a way to kick off MSI proper here with G2, the European hope, going up against the most legendary organization, I think, ever in League of Legends.
Steals the Featherstorm, buys a few extra seconds, but it's certainly not enough. Here comes FLICKR, the Emperor's Divide. Going golden is G2 Esports. Do EU believe? G2 obliterate SKT.
And Jacula just lifesteal tanks the entirety of SKT. Finds himself the second kill, gets number 3 as well, and 13-5 on to Nexus turret. And we're pre-16 minutes into this game. Invictus Gaming are going to finish it.
Jankos wants it, he's going for it. The axe will come through. Knockup is there to keep Pertz out of the back line. Wonder in the midst of everybody manages to kill Doublelifting Smithy, now the last man standing. Caps trying to destroy the team, taking on both solo laners. He's already knocked Impact out of the fight. Caps comes through, and Pertz gets the triple kill.
Double is now going to be in some trouble. 4-man lockdown from the mid laner. It's a double kill over to Betty, and the Flash Wolves will rend Team Liquid asunder.
Wonder, though, dishing out so much damage on the backside. Not buying time, but Zeros is here right on top of Perks. He's going to grab the kill. The Lysandra passive. Going to do more damage. Going to force the GA out of Jankos, but no flash anyone. No flash anyone.
I flash out.
No flash anyone. No flash anyone.
Okay, I go Varus.
Yeah.
Coming.
No flash.
You can penta. One more.
Nice. Hey, the Cypher gets back. Allen with the predict. Ignited, and goodbye to Caps. Goodbye to G2's hopes in this game. The dream is alive and well. The crowd erupts as the hometown heroes, Fongbu Buffalo, knock down G2.
Khan will find one onto Ning. Now on the defensive retreat. Oh, that burst damage. Bowline is blown up, and now Rookie gets knocked up into the air by the Fisher. Invictus Gaming are aced by SK Telecom.
For North America to fall flat here would be a massive disappointment to the LCS player base.
The 12.5-minute mark, that bottom tower is going on. Jensen gets the solo kill onto Caps. Yeah, there goes Xmithy. Here comes Double if his killer instinct did. That's the first kill onto Perks. Impact will be finishing us up. Team Liquid advance to the semi-finals.
After 10 days of grueling competition. Only 4 teams remain in the tournament. IG have been above the rest so far, securing the top spot in dominant fashion, only dropping a single game to SK Telecom T1.
This is going to be a difficult best-of-5 for Team Liquid.
Invictus Gaming are the huge, overwhelming favorites.
Welcome to the first game of the MSI 2019 knockout stage. Gonna be stunned up, flash into the kick, and there's your first blood. Invictus Gaming get themselves on the board.
The Shy goes in, knows he's going to be able to get that root, follows it up with Q. That's definitely going to be at least mid-lane inhibitor. Everyone from Team Liquid going back to heal in the fountain, but Invictus Gaming with the Baron buff should get it.
Team Liquid without their big engage mechanism is gonna have a very difficult time defending it. And then here we go, Pop Blossom takes thing down. It's IG on the run, a double kill over the impact. Shot down to 3, good lord, man, that's Jensen making the move. A shutdown over the impact, double F smells their fear.
Are you in, guys? Just end. Let's go, baby.
Wow. Are you sure? Are you sure?
Are you sure?
Smurf on this. Oh, he missed.
Wait,
oh my god, we're gonna lose.
my guys?
Hey, never down and down! Team Liquid take down the reigning world champs.
We have a rematch of the 2017 MSI Finals as the representatives from LCK and LEC battle for a shot at North America in the final.
Khan's coming in with a slicing maelstrom into all of G2. Caps is already down. Perks follows.
Just so you know, I need to warm up because I'm always bad game 1.
Quadra kill!
We can. I need Penta.
Oh, shit! 1 or 2 more hits. Meganol comes out. Wonder forces game 5.
Oh my god.
Reaction against Team Liquid. Reaction against Team Liquid, by the way.
No way.
Where were you when the West rose up? North America faced Europe at the MSI Finals.
Welcome to the finals of the 2019 Mid-Season Invitational, and who would have believed it was North America's Team Liquid versus Europe's G2 Esports.
He's going to flash back to safety. The knockup coming in. They're going to get yet another one. A double kill for Perks. The flash re-engage. They caught Jensen unaware. What a great kill for Mickey.
2 red. I got it. I'm gonna throw too. Nice. Good fight, boss. Are you good fight, boss? Come on, here.
In they go as he's still slicing Maelstrom. And it is just that. Slicing up Team Liquid.
Oh, my Penta. So far, G2 has shown us better games, and rightfully so. They're at match point.
That's a big stun. That's a big engage. Oh my gosh, look at the fight. This is what peak League of Legends looks like. And it comes from Europe. G2 Esports 3-0 will win MSI 2019.